What's up, everybody? Big Luke here. It's Man of the Free, Freedom of Mind, Money, and Media. We are in the Man of the Free studios. I call it the place to be. And here with me is the one, the only, Marcus Rafferty.
Hi.
Hello, Marcus.
Hi, Luke.
Thank you for joining us, sir.
Dude, thank you for having me.
I am thrilled to have you. I feel like this is going to be a fun show. We're like-minded people. We don't even know each other that well, and we've already had some deep belly laughter in the pre-show discussion,
for sure,
among other things. So when we get started, Marcus, I always kind of ask the guests, and forgive everybody, or everybody forgive me rather, for the raspy voice. I'm getting over a walking pneumonia. It's not contagious, however.
Oh, great. Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
No problem. By the way, I coughed all over your microphone.
Is that what that is?
It is. It's, you just scrape the top of it there. So I always ask the guests, how did we meet? And I've noticed there's a theme lately is none of us can fucking remember how we met.
Yeah.
But did it have something to do with a gas station?
Yeah, no, I remember I was at the Nice and Easy and you were walking. I'm like, God, I think that's Luke. So I introduced myself to you, and my sales manager at the time in the car business was Tommy Lovin.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, Tommy told me a little bit about your thing. That it was a very brief, maybe 45 seconds. Like, hey, how you doing? You were busy. I was busy. And
that's right.
It is what it is.
Hey, shout out Tom Loving. That's a good guy.
Right. And Jeremy Barnes, too. I think I had name dropped Jeremy.
You want to know what's funny about that is I met Jeremy Barnes, or had my first conversation with Jeremy Barnes at that very same gas station. The very same one.
I remember him saying that in a post about you for your wedding that I read. It's really weird that you can retain some shit like that, right?
Yes, it is.
Facebook post like, yeah, this giant approached me at a gas station and asked me to come sell cars. For some reason, it just stuck. I don't know why.
I tend to have most of my intimate connections at gas stations. I take it from my drug days, and it's very effective. It's an effective technique.
I met many a dude at a gas station.
I would have to agree. It's the whole, I think you smell the petroleum, you think of lubricants, and you just run with it.
And totally.
All right, so we met at a gas station, so Marcus is somebody that was like a mystery figure to me, because I would always hear his name come up in conversations. My wife, her brother is in music, and Marcus Rafferty was this name that kept coming up as kind of the local guy that everybody knew that broke it and made it big, like Eminem and 8 Mile. I got to get out of Detroit. I got to get out of the D. And Marcus was the guy that got out.
Trying to get in the D.
There's many trying to get the D. Only a few trying to get out. But
it's funny that you say that, because a few years back we did a roast of my friend Chucky Love.
Okay.
And so Josh from K-Rock was there, and like a bunch of us on this panel to just do a roast of Chucky Love.
Now, was this something that was like produced?
It was a benefit thing.
Oh, okay.
We did a live situation and whatever else, and but that was one of the things when Josh was talking about me. He's like, the only thing I ever really hear about you is like people call you for tickets to shows. So I'm like, I mean, fair enough, I guess. Yeah.
The guy with the ins.
Yeah, right.
So when I saw you at the gas station that day, and we had that brief exchange, and you said, hey, I think I know you, and da-da-da. And I'm like, okay, this is Marcus Rafferty. Yeah. And everything that I had heard, and this is part of the reason you're in the studio, Marcus, is when you're made aware of somebody, when somebody comes up in conversation, there's usually, yeah, that's that person. Here's the good stuff. Here's the bad stuff. They're pretty much an okay person, and this is who they are. And then you talk to the next person, they're like, oh, yeah, they're okay. Next person, oh, I don't like that guy. Next person, oh, he's a great guy, but, has this problem. Very few times do I hear of people, and everything that's said about them is positive. Okay?
Yeah, it's weird, right?
I need your head to fit as you leave the studio, because we're going to have to exit at some point.
Absolutely. But I mean, I got to step up my asshole game.
Just not reaching the bar.
Yeah.
So you're a guy that I heard nothing but positive things about, right? Jeremy Barnes, one of my employees, he's just a real solid individual, good dude. My wife knows you not super well, I don't think, but he's a nice guy. He's actually a real down to earth dude. And everybody, it was nice guy, phenomenal musician, and very fun to talk to.
Yeah, wicked small dick. Yeah, awesome dude.
I wasn't going to bring it up, but so let me ask you this question, Marcus. Who are you to you? Like, if somebody comes up and says, hey, what are you into? Because I know what you've gotten into later in life, where you've been. I've done a little bit of research. So who is Marcus Rafferty now? What is your persona? What would you want to be known as?
I mean, dude, to be honest with you, I'm a dad. That's what it's all turned into. Everything that I've ever done in my life, not without even knowing it, has all just prepared me to be a dad. All the shit that I went through, all the fucking The times I woke up drunk in the fucking gutter and stoned and high from pills that I took the night before or whatever else. And then all the shortcomings that led up to, you know, the wins that I got.
Okay.
Sometimes you get a win. And now I just focus on the wife and kids, basically. There's the bands that are great, the music that's great, everything else, jobs. And I find myself overworking myself a lot. Though.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I'm sure you do the same.
Is that from a place of passion or from a place of...
I think it's an idle hands thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Devil's playground. And the more I keep myself, the more I'm not going to get into trouble. But I still get in fucking trouble. It happens to the best of us.
It's part about being a man, I think.
Yeah.
I'll say this. That's really... It's nice to hear you say that because a lot of guys, they may know that about themselves. They may not know that about themselves. I think there's two strengths that shows. One, it shows that you have the strength to identify that and know that and be cognizant of it. The other one is the willingness to admit it, right? The humility to say, listen, I fuck off if I've got too much time on my hands. So I choose to occupy as much time as I can because I know that when given idle time, like you said, idle hands are the devil's playground.
Yeah, I've seen me do it. Yeah.
I can dig into some deep shit that's
Absolutely.
hard to get out of. So we've been talking very cavalierly about the bands and the music, and he's a good musician and so on and so forth. But let's, our audience is national. They don't know at this point exactly, what your claim to fame is, but it just so happens that you're a guitar player for a pretty well-known rock band.
This is true. I do play in a very well-known rock band called Mudvayne, which is still a very new thing for me. So I guitar tech for them back 2009, 2010.
Okay.
Kind of thing.
Tell our viewers what a guitar tech does.
So a guitar tech is basically a dude that or a woman. We don't discriminate.
We're inclusive.
Yeah, thank you. That will go on the road or whatever with a band, and they just take care of their guitar players. So they set up their amps, set up their guitars during the show. Make sure your basically a glorified babysitter to make sure. If a string breaks, they have a new guitar, you do guitar changes. If a head goes down, you got to change it. There's a lot involved to a guitar teching thing, which I never thought. I was like, oh, I'm going to go out and drink beer and fucking bang some slobs and then fucking do a show real quick and then go and, get drunk again. But apparently it turned out that there was a lot more to it than that.
Yeah, there's some work involved. Huh?
There's a lot of work involved. It's the most stressful 45 minutes I ever had in my entire life when you're watching a band play and watching a dude that's playing in front of 80,000 people, and you're the one dude responsible. If he can't play, it's your fucking fault.
Unbelievable.
You got to fix it before you can blink.
So take us from. So you grew up in Central Square, is it?
Yes, sir.
Central Square is about 5-10 miles north of where I live, Brewerton, New York. I'm not sure what the population figures would
Actually,
be.
I think it's 4 miles.
4 miles?
Yeah.
Beautiful. It sounds like that's.
I saw the sign yesterday.
Okay. So. Just a titch north of where I live, Brewerton is a small, same school district, right? Central Square School District. So I would be safe to say that this is not an overwhelmingly large volume of people living in our area. Would you agree that we're kind of a small town area, rural 100%. Community?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, very small town.
So without having to, I know that you've got a very long, wow. Okay. They didn't know it was going to be the remix. Long, colorful history with fucking bands, right?
Man.
So take us from how Marcus Rafferty goes to school at Central Square and smells cow shit and fucking drinks beers at the local watering hole to is on tour with a national band.
I mean, well, first of all, let me just clarify. We do have a Taco Bell now.
You do?
Yeah, up there in the square next to Walmart.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I think there's also a fucking O'Reilly Auto Parts up there.
Yeah,
too, right?
O'Reilly's, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shameless plug for O'Reilly's. It's okay. You know what?
And we're both in the car industry.
It is
what it is.
Listen, I'm a very real guy. I'm plugging Monster here without their say.
I got me some Diet Pepsi, courtesy of Luke.
Smile with a tooth pinging for the commercial.
Okay.
A good product and a good service is a good product or good service. We have good luck with O'Reilly's. God bless them. So bring us back. So Central Square to Mudvayne. So
I will give you the quick elongated version. So I don't even know if that's a word, but I'm going to go with it.
We just made it.
I'm backing it.
It's fucking real now.
Okay, got out of high school, got my good enough diploma back there in 2000 because I was a bad influence on the rest of the children. So said my administrators.
So what's that put you? 39, 40, 38, something like that?
Yeah, I'm 39 now.
Okay.
Yeah. So I got my GED started.
I'm sorry. They actually told you were a bad influence?
They did.
That was the reason.
So they kicked me out, and they made me go to the BOCES program. Like, I didn't go to school at all. I went to the high school. I got on another bus, and I went to Mexico to go to BOCES.
No shit.
Yeah, it was like that. So I didn't want to get my GED because I was selling weed, and I was making a lot of money in school.
Right.
It was great. $5 joints. Fucking, I went to my boy, got an ounce of weed for $99, and
Basic economics.
Exactly. And smart.
Who needs school?
So they talked to my parents, and then my parents talked to me, and ultimately I had to get my GED.
Okay.
So I got out, started working jobs, pool store, whatever I could do. And my brother played in a band called Brand New Sin.
Okay.
So they got signed in 2000. He went out playing drums for them. He was the original drummer on the first record. Ultimately, he had they kicked him out of the band, or yeah, I believe that's what happened. So he started drum teching for a band called Chimera, which I love. It's a metal band from Ohio.
Okay.
And then he ended up drum teching for a band called Trivium as well. Trivium is now a very big metal band.
Okay.
So Trivium stayed at my house, my parents' house, on our floor for a couple of days when they were going through town, because at that point in time they were in a van and a trailer instead of the 2 buses and trucks that they had.
So the starving artist stories are really true. These guys really
it's a
just,
real thing.
No
that
shit.
Happens.
Okay.
So I sold merchandise for them at the Lost Horizon, which I now am kind of the manager there for whenever there's a show, which is funny.
Okay.
Turn of events. But I did merchandise for them there, and then they were like, hey, it'd be a great idea to bring you out and your brother on the road, because they were all kids at the time. They're like, nobody will fuck with us if we got these 2 big boys with us, kind of thing.
Awesome.
I was a bigger boy back then than I am now. So after that, I was like, man, I dig this road life thing. So I ended up going out. Actually, I got really homesick, and I fucking flew home early. And then I went out with a band called Nothing Face that I grew up loving. Okay. And I sold merch for them. For 3 weeks, I made them like $19,000 or something.
No shit.
3 weeks selling merch.
That sounds strong. How does it compare to the norm?
For that time period and that band, it was pretty good.
You're crushing it.
That was good. So, I mean, I went out for nothing. I went out for free just because I wanted to get back out there. I was like, just feed me.
Yep.
They ended up giving me $500 when I got home or back to Baltimore. Because I did such a good job for them, which got me home and fucking.
Thanks for selling $19,000 worth of shirts. Here's $500.
You know what? But I was grateful at the time because I didn't ask for anything.
Well, you didn't ask for anything.
Yeah, it was like,
a blessing.
Here you go.
Sure.
So there was a band called Silent Civilian. Now, this is something a lot of people don't know about me. There was a band called Silent Civilian that was the opening band on that tour.
Okay.
Their guitar player had quit.
Opening for Nothing Face?
Yep.
Okay.
So their guitar player had quit, and I wanted to play guitar for the band because I loved the band. I still do to this day. I love the band. They were just a really cool, thrashy kind of metal band.
Okay. Now, are these, not to stop your flow, but I just want to make sure that I know and the audience knows, are these like the kind of bands that are like Pantera-esque, or are these the ones where the guys are like, you know, they growl professionally?
Pantera, Slayer-esque, mixed with like maybe some like Killswitch Engage.
Okay.
Kind of, you know what I'm saying?
So some double bass, a lot of heavy riffs, power chords.
Screaming, right.
Okay, gotcha.
Fancy solos and shit like that. I ended up becoming the lead guitar player for that band.
No shit.
So,
this is for Silent Civilian.
For Silent Civilian.
Okay, all right.
So I actually brought another North Country dude out of the woodwork for that one. Our bass player, who was from Australia,
is the Sasquatch.
Had quit the band.
Okay.
So my buddy Stan Derby, who lived up in Constantia, was living in Florida, and I hit up Stan. I'm like, listen, dude, like our bass player quit. You fit the look for the band anyway.
Yeah.
If I fly you out to Seattle, would you come out and do it? And he's like, well, fuck, Mark, I ain't got nothing else going on right now. So he did, and I brought him out for, I think, 6 months or something. He played with us, and then we were all doing a lot of drinking.
Florida to Seattle.
Yep.
That's across the country.
Yeah. we were all doing a lot of drinking and partying big time back then. So shit fell apart. It happens.
Right.
We all got our voices. Okay, so then I got fired from that band. So I went home, got into like a depression kind of thing. I ended up going back out with them to finish up a tour that their guitar player bailed on them that replaced me. So I just went out and...
You got fired. New guitar player comes on, bails on them. They come crawling back to you.
Yeah, they called me back, and I was like, it was the weirdest thing is I actually had a dream that night that I got that phone call, and I woke up to 37 missed phone calls from the tour manager. I'm like,
no shit.
Oh, yeah, weird, right?
So there was a sense of urgency with those 37 missed calls.
So I take my dad out to go see Molly Hatchet and Blackfoot up in Watertown.
Okay.
And I got a phone call from the guitar player for the band Hell Yeah, which was the drummer from Pantera, the 2 guys from Mudvayne, Tom from Nothing Face, who I was out selling merch with years before, saying that he needed a guitar tech. And I'm like, dude, I have no idea what a guitar tech does. He's like, dude, it's easy. You'll come out and just have a good time party with me. I'll give you $1,000 a week plus a per diem. That's more money than I ever made in my life at that point.
Wow.
I was 22 years old.
And this was it. So we're talking 20 years ago.
Yeah.
A little less than 20 years ago.
Yeah, just about 20 years ago.
Man, that's like 50 some odd grand a year plus per diem. And
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds like strong money for that type of.
Right. Yeah, I was 22.
Plus, you enjoyed it. Right?
I live with my parents. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying?
So it's all spending cash.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. That was before I knew that I would have to actually start saving money. So I did that. I ended up getting fired after the second tour because I had no idea what I was doing. Like I walked into this gig going like, yeah, I'm just gonna party. No, it's not like that. You actually need to know how to do stuff, and I didn't know how to do stuff back then.
So, but you were a guitar player, right?
Yeah, I was a guitar player. I could play guitar.
So string the guitar, tune it. Those were second nature to you?
But when shit actually broke, like an amp goes down, I'm like, so this glowy thing, which is a tube, is not glowing. What do I do? So fast forward, I ended up getting a gig with a band called Hatebreed.
Okay. I've heard of Hatebreed.
Yeah, dude. Yep. I mean, if you work out in a gym, you're probably going to listen to fucking Hatebreed.
Absolutely.
It's just one of those things. So I went out with them, stage managing and teching. I did bass and the two guitar players. So I was kind of doing a little bit of everything. And I learned a lot. Like my goal on that one was like, learn as much as you can about this.
Okay. So you started taking it a little more seriously.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I had to. I'm like, if I'm going to go out and try to make a career out of this, I need to know what I'm doing.
So your mind was at that point where you're like, I enjoy this. There's money here. I could see myself doing this.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I was looking at tour managers that I will make up to $5,000 a week.
No shit.
Kind of thing. So I'm like, that's what I want to do. I want to build myself up and see how much.
So there was upward potential. There was room to grow and make a career out of it, and you wanted to take on this profession. Okay.
Yep.
Now, quick question: were there ambitions to be a playing artist at that time?
The whole time.
The
whole time that I guitar teched, I always dreamed of playing again because I had played before. At that level, like a Silent Civilian, we toured with like we did an El Nino drowning pool tour.
Okay.
God forbid, like back in 2006, those were the heavy bands that were big. Drowning Pool had they had dropped the song Bodies.
Oh God! Every wrestling team warmed up to let the bodies hit the floor.
Right. So that was really big for us back then, and I was like, man, I really want to get back to doing that. So I mean, teching, networking, and everything else, you try to get yourself out there so that people know who you are.
So you're throwing out some big names. I mean, you came across some pretty big stages even at this point early on.
Yeah, early on. I mean, so we're talking. This is almost 20. I guitar tech for damn near 18, 19 years.
Wow. Okay.
And did fairly well.
Does it feel like 20 years?
Yeah, it does now.
Yeah.
It does now. So after Hatebreed, I went to Mudvayne. This was like, I never thought I would get that call. I was doing sound up in Utica at the Taste of Utica or whatever it was. Like this steakhouse, a band would come in with like an acoustic guitar and a fiddle or something, and I had 4 inputs, and I got a call from Guy Sykes, their tour manager, saying that Greg wanted me to come and guitar tech for Mudvayne. I was like, oh my God, this is incredible.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So got a little pay raise there, a little bump in my pay, and my pay went from $1,000 to $1,300 a week.
Nice.
Per diem kind of thing.
Plus, it was a bigger band, right? More exciting experience. Okay.
Yep. And then in between all of this, I was with the band Hell Yeah still throughout about 10 years that I was with them, and I was singing backup vocals, guitar teching for 2 dudes, bass teching, and stage managing. So I had 5 gigs I was doing.
Wow.
Basically that was actually my pay had jumped up. Then it was like $1,750 a week. At that point in time, because I was doing so much shit.
Well, it's almost $100,000 a year, right?
Right. Yeah. If you were to tour all the, when you're off.
So this was during. Okay, I got you.
Yeah. So I would get home and call the old unemployment, like, hey, yep, need some money to get some drugs this week.
Marcus is back home. Plug me back in.
Yeah. After the 10 years of doing that thing, I ended up separating from Hell Yeah because my personal band here in Syracuse, Fall of Humanity, that I have with my brother, we got signed. We got signed in 2015, I think it was.
Okay.
And we still are now. We're still a legitimate band. We have like 1.3 million streams or something on our first single that we put out called Seasons. If you get a chance, check it out.
I definitely am.
Yeah. I was transitioning to focus on that. And so I was doing that, but then I got a call from my buddies in the band Lamb of God.
Okay.
I absolutely
Another big name.
Yep. And they were going out with Slayer for this tour in 2017. So I ended up jumping in with them, and I was just teching for my buddy Mark, who's a phenomenal dude, phenomenal player, and just a sweetheart of a dude. So I ended up spending the better part of 3 years with them because Slayer did their final tour. And then COVID.
And this is Lamb of God?
This is Lamb of God.
Okay.
And this brings us up to COVID.
The boy Luke's got ADD, Marcus. This is like frisbees flying at me in every direction.
I get it. So do I. The only thing keeping me straight right now is the caffeine I'm getting from the Diet Pepsi from the Pepsi Cola company. Thank you. Anywho.
We'll keep rolling so we don't fuck it up.
All right, COVID happens. 2020. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Everything got shut down. I was... I had hit up my cousin Dan, who was the GM for Nye Automotive Group.
Okay.
And I'm like, dude, I need a gig. I need something to do. And this was right before the shutdown. So it was January 2nd of 2020. I started in Recon, cleaning cars.
No shit.
And then middle of February, he decides that he's like, hey, man, he's like, I want you to try selling cars. And I'm like, all right, fucking why not?
Any idea what spurred him to...
He saw something in me that I didn't see.
Okay.
You know? And he's like, I think you could be a good salesman. I'm like, fuck, I can try it, whatever else. I did all my training. Tommy Lovin again. He was the one training me. Sold one car, COVID shutdown.
So your COVID shutdown in music touring, you relieved yourself to a career in car sales, which was shortly thereafter shut down.
Right.
Perfect.
Yeah. So COVID shutdown, and I was basically selling cars, and I told everybody, I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to do this until I get a tour, and then I'm going to go back out on tour and this and that.
Yep.
When the shutdown happened, the music industry went away, and I'm like, I need to make a career out of this.
Okay.
Like, I got a family to support and this and that. So I started selling my ass off. I mean, from January till August of the end of August 2021 was like my first kind of fullish year selling cars. I had sold 110 cars and made $88,000 already, and it was almost the first week of September.
Not a bad first year.
Not a bad first year. And then I had got the call to go out and do the Mudvayne shows to Guitar Tech, which ended up turning into what it is now.
That's where my curiosity lies.
That's what we're getting into. All of this bullshit that I've been saying for the last half an hour. So here we go. Here's what happened. So we do this show in Ohio, and we all had COVID, and we didn't even know it.
Now, when you say we, is this you teching for Mudvayne?
Me and the singer. And I was doing backups behind my curtain in my tech world and whatnot. And people were thinking like we were running tape or whatever, but we're not. They're not a band that runs tape. Hence the reason.
So meaning this band is performing on stage behind the black curtain. You're on a microphone actually singing backup.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep.
I would have much preferred you in a red dress, snapping your fingers and swaying your hips on a little bit of an elevated stage in the back.
I could do that right now.
It's kind of a doo-wop thing. I got a thing for a doo-wop.
Well, they have me on an elevated thing in the back now. That's where I stand. I just have makeup on my face.
Gotcha. Kind of like Maynard in the back, just a silhouette, quietly strumming.
Yeah, kind of. That's still weird to me.
Fucking really weird. Not to get off topic, but what is the deal with that?
Dude, I don't know. I've never been that into it, to the band.
I like Danny Carey.
Yeah.
That's my thing. Super technical player, amazing chops. When you watch an interview, he seems like he's pretty humble. But it's like every Tool song is just odd. Like, it's like the guy like tries to sound like he's overly intelligent. No disrespect to Maynard James Keenan, but like we used the Fibonacci sequence to decide what type of time signature we were going to use for the song "Death's Fall of Humanity into the Shallows of the Droves Unknown." And he it's like that's every Tool song ever made. And the drum, it's like triple lit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, triple lit, 7, 8.
Right.
You're like, wait.
Well, hang on a second.
Trying to learn a Tool song on the drums, I'd rather take a 20 gauge needle and just stick it in my eye.
There you go.
It's very fucking difficult for some.
Fucking hurt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that was a very colorful description, but I'm a musician, nowhere near as talented as you. I'm a guy that's kind of self-taught, but I know enough to know time signatures and beats and like trying to learn a Tool song. It's like you pretty much have to memorize the song.
See, I didn't know that you were a musician.
I own an electronic drum set, and I can make a rhythm.
Yeah.
I'm the kind of guy that if I sit down and I go hard for a month every night for an hour or two to some rock music, if you walk in on the 33rd day, you're like, well, I can drum, you know? But if you handed me sticks right now and sat me down to a drum set, I'd be like...
Dude, that's the one thing I cannot do. I cannot play drums. Like, if my life depended on it, nothing. I got nothing.
Yeah, so that's how it was when I started. Yeah. I started with a snare drum, and it was like rudiments. There was, man, this is like going way back. My mom caned canoe seats for a guy by the name of Jack McGreevy, who was a jazz drummer for a local band called Oasis. And this guy was like a closet superstar. You ever seen the movie Little Man Tate?
I've not.
It's an old movie about a little kid who plays chess. He's a savant. Jack McGreevy was like the Little Man Tate of drumming. I was a kid, so it probably seemed much more glorious than it was. But I still, to this day, there's like tapes and stuff of him playing. Just an insanely talented jazz drummer. I saw a drum set in his canoe shop. There was a bottle of Moxie soda, a picture of Marilyn Monroe half naked, a couple canoes, some tipped over freaking wood stain, and then like an old beat up, like a Ludwig set or a Remo set over in the corner with the sparkly paint. And then, one day he's like, he had that voice of like a smoker of many, many years. Like, how do you think that thing over there, right? Like the drums? And I'm like, yeah. Yeah. You sit down, and you're like, holy shit. This old fat guy that makes canoes out of his garage. So that led to an interest in snare drum, led to an interest in band. Then we had this music teacher by the name of Mark Madafri. Shout out Mr. Madafri, one of those teachers that just you remember for the rest of your life because he was passionate, good with kids, and just an incredible human being. The kind of guy that if you like tried to talk politics with him, he'd be like, I have to go to the bathroom and leave because he's just so against any kind of conflict or any sort of undesirable conversation. Really got me into it because he had a drum set and I would watch him play, and it's just, rock drummer, just the glory, just, oh man, a sexy drumming, tattoos, rock and roll. It's probably the same thing that drew you to the music industry aside from just the musical aspect of it, the superstardom. And it really, it excited me. So I got into it and I became really into it and really decent for a while. And then, left high school. It kind of wasn't cool to be in band anymore and blah, blah, blah. It kind of just trickles off from there. But that's my involvement with being a musician. And as I got older and became more successful and got some money, then it was like buy a brand new double bass drum set and the best drumsticks out there and the Travis Barker signature snare drum head and all this shit. And then sit down and be like, oh, well, I'm not really good at this. I probably should have started with a practice pad.
Yeah, right.
All right, so let's get back to the life and times of Marcus Rafferty. We took a short sabbatical there, but
yeah, no, it's fine. Actually, so my brother Mike is. I hate giving him credit. He's such an asshole. I love him.
Fuck you, Mike, but we appreciate you.
He's like the best drummer that I mean, I can't replace him kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Especially around here. So I have the luxury of playing with some of the best musicians that I can personally think of. I had a band with Vinnie Paul before he died called Gasoline. It was a cover band that him and Dime started because Pantera and I wanted to play shows on New Year's Eve.
Cool side note, Vinnie Paul, Modern Drummer magazine. He was on the cover. That magazine was given to me by that guy, Jack McGreevy.
Nice.
It was thumbtacked to my wall by my bunk bed as a kid with a picture of his setup.
That's
so
fucking
that's
awesome.
Pretty cool coincidence.
Yeah, man. So I got him. I got my drummer, Matt, for Mudvayne, and my brother, Michael.
Okay.
Those are like my three.
All right.
Which is just incredible. To sit there and just watch him play, you watch him, you're like, God, you're such a dick.
Like, why are you so good?
Exactly. Like, why do you make it look so simple?
easy?
Yeah.
I hate that.
It sucks so bad. But I love him. Fucking, so, all right. So after, where the hell was I? Oh, COVID. Yeah. So we did that show, sick as fuck. And I was like,
did you get sick with COVID?
Yeah.
And the show went on?
I've had it 4 fucking times.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Do you have the vaccination?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So vaccination, got it sick for it. Wow, what a fucking blur the past 3 years have been with this whole COVID
that
shit.
I can honestly say, I mean, I didn't get the boosters. I just got the first 2 shots or whatever. But after I got the shots and I got COVID again, it wasn't as bad as the first time.
Okay.
I had it.
Okay. So you think it was effective?
I'll give it that.
Okay. Fair enough.
And then, so anyway, getting back into the music, the next show that we were going to do got canceled. It was the Louder Than Life. So then Aftershock in Sacramento, the Misfits headline, and Mudvayne was the headliner on the other stage.
Okay.
And I was in there doing backups and playing as well. But at this time, we had a different dude come in and guitar tech so that I could just focus on the vocals and guitar because after COVID, it was a little hard to get all that air out and everything else and all that shit. It's just like, okay, I can't be doing too much shit. I need to just focus on this so that we can have a good show. We can't run tracks or anything because they're not that band. Mudvayne is the band that they're a live band and they're like, we're going to play for the fans. And
that's
if
awesome.
If you want to hear the CD, go home and listen to the CD.
Right.
If you want to hear a live band, come and see us. We're going to fuck shit up. Sorry.
That's awesome.
It is what it is.
Yeah, that's who they are.
So so that was the plan at first, was that I was going to be behind, backstage playing and singing or whatever else.
Okay.
But the band brought me into the dressing room. And they were like, Marcus, you've done a lot. I forgot to mention I had to quit my job selling cars in order to do this.
Okay.
And
so to go back onto it, you had to nix the car thing.
Yeah, my wife was the one that pushed me to do it. I was like, babe, I'm on track to clear 130 this year. I'm like, I can't leave this job to go try and play fucking rock and roll again. It's just not possible. She's like, babe, this is the one shot you have for your dream. You have to go do it.
What an incredible woman.
Dude, she is the strongest part of my whole entire fucking world. Without her, I'm fucking nothing.
That's awesome.
So they brought me in there and they're like, dude, you quit your job and you do a lot for us. Like, we want to bring you on stage in the band and play. So
no shit.
My very first show.
That gave me goosebumps.
Yeah. It was the weirdest feeling. I actually excused myself to go to the bathroom for a minute just to process everything.
Shit.
And then I came back out and was very thankful of everything and just like kind of still in awe. It still didn't hit me or anything. Like, it still hasn't hit me. It's been over a year. I'm still like, I'm still just a fat asshole from Central Square, New York.
I think you always will be, though.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
That's what makes you special.
Yeah.
So this was a group of guys that you revered highly, international rock stars. You felt honored to be on stage with them. You felt honored to provide a support role for them. All of a sudden, one day, they say, hey, so-and-so wants to see you in the dressing room.
Yeah.
You go in there. They're all kind of hanging out, just sitting there. And, hey, Marcus, one guy takes the lead of the conversation and lets you know that they've all decided that they want you.
Were you there?
No.
Because that's exactly what happened.
Is it really?
Yes.
So good at that.
Yeah, dude.
I like to paint a mental picture.
Yeah.
But I picture these guys, one guy's like leaning on the counter, two guys are sitting on the couch, and the one guy's kind of standing there with a foot on a chair like, so we've been talking. And so that's kind of how it went down. And you just all of a sudden were bombarded with a famous rock and roll band that tours the world that you've been feeling honored to support has just asked you to be one of the band members.
Exactly.
And go melt faces with them.
Yeah, it was like, okay, what now? So, and then it was like a movie playing out at first because they were like, okay, so we're going to take you shopping tomorrow. You're going to get your wardrobe and stuff for the stage. And they were like, you can pick out your own makeup, but the band will ultimately have the decision. And that was the scariest thing for me because I am not artistically inclined at fucking all. And I'm like, I got to do makeup myself. Like, fuck. This is
they don't have to redo it for you?
No.
Oh, the fuck.
So we have our production assistant, Clarissa, that would ultimately, she came in and she would like airbrush my head white.
Okay.
And then I would do the rest of it. It would just give me the bottom coat so I had something to kind of go off of. And I just like followed the lines of my face and something worked. And I'm like, okay, stop. This is exactly what I'm going to do.
This is me.
This is me.
Gotcha.
Kind of thing. So my very first show playing with them was in front of 45,000 people.
Jesus
Direct
Christ.
support for the original Misfits. My second show with them was Rockville in front of 80,000 people, direct support from Metallica.
So direct support, does that mean you're the band
right
just before?
The second one, we were the band right before Metallica. It was us. Leonard Skinner played on the B stage, way on the other side of Daytona Speedway, and then Metallica played.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That just seems larger than life.
Yeah. Basically, that's exactly what I thought. I flew home, I flew my wife down for that one because she was the one. If it wasn't for her, that wouldn't have happened. Anyway,
yeah.
My brother came down as well, and my boy Jesse, who's opening up a bar called the Jug over here. Nice little plug for you, Jesse.
There you go. Go spit jugs
over in Lint Court. They're fucking. Teal Lorenzo. It used to be Shots. Did you ever see that place?
I think they're gonna know. Yep,
dude,
Shots.
He actually did a great job. Like he had all like the local artists and tattoo artists come and like do murals and shit.
Oh, no shit.
Inside and like, yeah,
That's cool.
It's really cool.
I wonder if they had Allie. Allie did our mural here. She did a very nice job.
Possibly.
We had to change the camera angle because for a while, the way we were filming it, Ruben, it just looked like myself and my guests were being punched in the head by very colorful fists. But once we brought the wide angle back, you could see the handcuffs and the breaking the chains, and it kind of brought it all into full effect. But I thought she did a hell of a job. So, so you got how's the buddy with the bar tie into it again?
Oh, so he flew down as well.
It was your friend coming to see the show. I got you.
The only one of my friends that he just said, "Fuck it, I'm coming," and he bought his own ticket.
That's awesome.
Flew the fuck down. Yeah, I'm like, damn man, fucking that's.
So you could get down there and be like, "That's my buddy right there. Hi, Marcus."
Right? Yeah. No, he brought some joints with him. We're all weed smokers because we don't drink anymore. He's opening a bar. You don't even drink.
Really?
Yeah.
No shit. Probably be a very successful bar owner. Then.
Exactly. Yeah. So then after that, we had some time off, and then we did that tour with Rob Zombie, July and August.
No shit.
It was amphitheater tour. We were sold. Almost all the venues were sold like out or damn near close to. We're talking amphitheaters, 20,000 plus people.
Jesus Christ,
like,
man!
Big shows and shit, and it was surreal every day. I was actually kind of bored every day because like being a guitar tech, you're all day you're working from the time you get up till the time you go to fucking sleep.
No shit. So you went
days.
to being the celebrity.
And now, now all of a sudden I go up and talk to my guitar tech and like, hey man, can I? And just go away. Like, fuck.
I'll take care of this.
He's like, just go to the bus. Like, damn it.
No shit. Let me ask you a question, Marcus. Yeah. The very first time that you said the Daytona thing, the first concert, there was 40-something thousand people out there?
Sacramento,
sorry.
The Aftershock, yeah.
Okay.
45,000 people.
45,000 people. Yeah. And that was your first performance with them?
Yeah.
So that is, I mean, based on what you said regarding the other shows, I mean, 40-something, that's a big show. Is that one of the bigger ones?
Yeah.
So your very first show was one of the larger shows.
Yep.
What was it like? This is what I want to visualize, and I want to know. And I want to bring this to my audience. So you're this guy that's been into rock and roll your whole life. You've scratched and clawed your way through doing it for free, doing it just for meals, sleeping on the streets, whatever is necessary to be on the scene and get a look. Then you gain some traction. Then you start teching. Then you meet some people. The next thing you know, oh, that's Marcus. He's with us. He's cool. Now all of a sudden, it all comes to fruition. This major band asks you to be a part of their existence, which is superstardom. You're backstage. You hear the crowd. You've just been announced that you're coming out. Your set's up there, and you know that now it's go time. What does it feel like the moment you walk out there and you see 45,000 sets of eyes staring back at you, looking for you to perform and melt their fucking face?
So that was the weirdest part for me, actually, was because I was expecting nerves, panic attacks. I've always had anxiety and shit like that, but there was nothing like that.
Really?
I was like completely focused and determined to go out and do exactly what I had to do, kind of thing. It was more like, so say you're a boxer and you're going to go out and you're walking to the ring and you know exactly what you're going to do. That's exactly how I felt. I was walking there just like, fucking let's go.
Now, was there a lot of, so thank you for that, by the way. That's not what I thought you were going to say. I was waiting for you to tell me, oh man, right before I walked out there, I had to Ralph real quick. They had to redo my lip makeup. Nothing. Just a professional doing his job, walking out on stage, hitting the marks, hitting the cues, doing what he'd been trained to do.
Exactly.
Do you think at an earlier point in your life, you would have taken it a little bit less, not less seriously, but you would have taken a different approach?
I might have.
Okay.
I think definitely with age and experience, especially. I mean, I guitar teched for shows that 100,000 plus people. I've seen the crowds, I've seen the stages, I've seen the people.
Right.
But I just
I
was never on that part of it. So that was the part that was new to me. But it was almost like I was walking beside myself, watching myself walk to the stage.
Okay.
And the autopilot of the dude that was going to go and crush shit was the dude that was going up there. And I was like, all right, cool, let's do it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So it really came, I don't want to say it came easy because nothing about that I'm sure is easy.
Nothing came easy.
But it came fluidly.
Yeah. When I got done playing was the holy fuck.
Like what just happened?
Yeah.
No shit.
I threw my guitar at my Actually, no, I threw my guitar down and broke the fucking thing. But I stormed right back and walked straight to the dressing room and took my ear fucking, because we have in-ear monitors.
Yep.
Ripped those fucking things out, and I just sat down and put my head down, drank some water, and lit up a joint, and I was like, okay, all right. Let's go watch Metallica.
Now, what was the feedback from the team, the other guys? Was it, did somebody come and bang on your door like, Marcus, you fucking killed it, thank you, brother? Or was it like everybody just went back and took a nap, or what?
It was all very positive. And one of the biggest things that I was nervous about was how the fans were going to perceive me being a fifth guy. So they didn't announce me at first. I was an in the shadows guy.
Okay.
By design.
Okay.
So Mudvayne has always been a very cryptic band.
Okay.
And whatnot. So for a couple of days, the internet was like, wait a minute, who the fuck is that guy?
Okay. Okay.
And Loudwire ended up putting out a thing where they figured out who I was.
I saw that, actually. I saw that article on Loudwire.
I broke the internet for like 2 days.
No shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's got to be a good feeling.
They figured it out, and I was like, yeah, you got me. Kind of thing. But that was a kind of a cool little feeling. Like Chad, my singer, would text me. He's like, "Yo, man, Loudwire's talking about you, homie," and I was like, "Yeah." Like, holy fuck, that's kind of crazy. I grew up watching or reading Loudwire shit and Revolver and Guitar World and all that stuff. So that was really cool.
So you were well received by the guys.
But the biggest thing was I was like, I didn't know how the fans were going to perceive me. I didn't know if there was going to be a lot of shit talkers out there, and I was like, man, I never care what people think about me. I'm just not that guy. If somebody doesn't like me, like, well, tough fucking break. It is what it is.
Have you always been that way?
I got that way after I started touring. I used to be very self-conscious about shit. And then one day I was just like, you know what? Who fucking cares?
What changed? What changed? What broke that cycle?
I think it was just getting out and seeing the world.
Okay.
And seeing, I've been to fucking everywhere.
And not to interrupt you, Marcus, the reason I ask and the reason that's so important to me and to bring to these guys is because my audience watches this show to try to gain value, to get better in life, become more successful, become more self-sufficient, more self-confident. I tell a story of a guy that was able to come from a very humble beginning, break through some serious adversity, and get to some really tremendous places. Like as I'm sitting here with the guitar player from Mudvayne talking about his come up. What these guys are looking for, well, they're looking for obviously a great show, but what I know a lot of my audience does is they're note taking. They're grabbing bits and pieces of value. And I know there's people out there that are saying, well, I'm self-conscious and, I'm worried about what other people think and I don't want to be that way.
Right.
How did this motherfucker go from being that way to all of a sudden not? So that's why I'm asking you the question.
No, okay. So I never left New York State until I was 20 years old.
Okay.
My brother was playing in Brand New Sin down in New York City.
And Brand New Sin was local to Syracuse, right?
They were, and they got signed, and they toured with like Black Label Society and a bunch of bands like that.
I feel like on the way home from my job in Clay, New York, I used to drive by a trailer on Route 31 that said Brand New Sin with a pig on it.
Yeah.
Was that them?
Yeah,
no shit. Okay.
And that was the first time I ever left New York, and then by leaving New York, I drove through Pennsylvania to get to New York City. And it was so exciting for me.
Fucking culture.
But when I did my first tour and I got out and I just started meeting new people and getting out of the area that I grew up in that I thought I would never be able to leave. And I think most of my anxiety when I was a kid was like, well, I live in a small town and, I got to grow up and fucking get a family and get a job in town, and this is where I'm going to live and die. And I need to try to make everybody like me and this and that. And then one day when I started touring and all of a sudden fans were out there and I was meeting new people and fucking shaking hands and signing autographs in the earlier bands and shit, I was like, you know what? Fucking, it doesn't matter. The small town that you grew up in doesn't matter. It's a very small pinpoint in a giant fucking map that the opportunities that you have are everywhere at any time. It's all in what you make it. If you want to change yourself and change the way that you look at yourself, sometimes you need to just get the fuck away from everybody that you're around.
Boom.
And start something new, because you can make yourself anything you want. If you're sitting there trying to impress one person, there's 100 other people out there that don't give a fuck about that
at all, right? It's incredible that you just said that, because one of the things that I learned kind of coming up through the ranks is that what you've been taught, what you've learned, kind of how you've been molded based on the area you grew up in, the people that you grew up around, you can travel sometimes as little as 15 to 20 miles to a different group of people. And for instance, growing up in a small town, I grew up in Cato, New York, very country, right? At one point, I was in school, and Jinko jeans were popular.
Them shits too.
Now, fuck yeah, right, with the backs cut, so there's the little tassels.
Dude, I had the cheap ones that I had to get at North Country up there in fucking Hastings because
last year's models.
Oh yeah.
We did a lot of that in my town too.
Yes, sir.
You know, I had the long hair shaved up under here and it hung over.
Yeah, we had the same fucking hair. I think we're the same dude.
We may be the same guy. Did you have an Umbro soccer shirt? 'Cause I definitely had that.
Did.
We did. We may be the same person. We grew up in areas, I'm now discovering about you, that were very similar. They were very behind the times. And I don't know about you, but we had a very cliquey school, right? And it was, okay, this guy walked in wearing X, Y, and Z. Well, I got to get X, Y, and Z. You know, then next year it was, he comes in wearing this. And it was whoever the popular guy was, whoever the trendsetter was. And at that time in my life, it's so sad really to reflect on this, but I would see these popular individuals as like, okay, Jesus Christ himself must have come to them this summer and told them what to wear.
Yeah, right.
Or it's quite possible that a Hollywood designer has a direct line to his mom and he called her and let her know exactly what kids should be wearing this year because so-and-so is the trendsetter. That's what I got to do.
Yeah.
I don't even like silver, but I got to get a silver chain and an earring.
Funny enough, I remember it was 9th grade, my first time in high school. I walked in wearing my Mudvayne LD50 shirt that I got. And I was the only motherfucker that had it.
Yeah.
The next day I come to school and like there was like 10 other people had that shirt. I'm like, motherfuckers.
You were the trendsetter.
Yeah. Well, it was. I was like, man. I was like, fuck. I can't even wear this anymore. Everybody else got in my shit. So then I wore my Slipknot shirt the next day.
There you go.
Yeah. Damn straight.
So, did you ever tour with them? Did you ever get near Slipknot?
Yeah.
What's the guy? Corey something? What's his name?
Time out.
Okay, we're gonna get some cool media.
Keep talking.
What's the lead singer's name? Corey something,
Corey
right?
Taylor.
Corey Taylor.
Yeah.
He strikes me as somebody who might be a little arrogant and dramatic. Am I wrong?
Corey is a fucking sweetheart.
Is he really?
Yes, he
That's
is.
so good to hear.
You're gonna find out right now.
Because he's so fucking talented, man. How do you see that, Ruben? How do we? Maybe can we edit this in later so they can see it? I'm so
Corey
glad
was
Ruben's good at technology.
Towards me, and I was out with Lamb of God, and Corey was walking towards me, and I just for some reason I just looked at him, I was like, Corey, and I just pulled my shirt up, and he pulled his shirt up, and then I'm like, it's a goddamn Kodak moment.
That's so fucking cool, man. So like, Marcus, thank you for that. You know,
dude, you're welcome.
That right there is exactly why I do this show. Okay.
Sometimes you don't know until you see a different perspective of it. You know
100%. And here I am talking, and I didn't mean any ill will towards the Corey guy, but I just, you know, when you see someone who's everything, he's the focal point of it. And, you know, somebody like Maynard, my cousin does some, he works for Live Nation. We'll keep him unnamed at this point because I don't want to bend any bad will his way.
It's all good.
But he's expressed on a couple occasions that his interactions with Maynard from Tool is just that Maynard's a little arrogant, you know, knows who he is and not like a super asshole out to get you, but like he certainly lets you know who he is. Same thing, you know, you hear stories about guys like James Hetfield, you know, being very prima donna-esque. I don't know if any of that's true, but I was hoping just because of some of the art that I've seen him do and like that the music video for, is Snuff the one where he's chasing the girl in the black dress?
I think so.
Just such a cool video. He struck me as a guy that might be a little arrogant and a centerpiece. That's so fucking cool. That actually just made my day, honestly.
Exactly.
So, no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
I just wanted to just convey to the audience. So, you know, Marcus is a guy that I met at a gas station, right? Local guy, never would have been any wiser to the fact that this level of talent is in my hometown. Meet him at the gas station. He's heard of me. I've heard of him. We hit it off. I start this show little bit later on. I get a hold of him. I'm like, you know, Marcus, I think you'd be great for my show because you're exactly what we try to bring on. We try to bring on people that are incredibly talented, have a lot of value to bring our audience, have a lot of experience to bring to our audience, but one of the cost of admission for coming through that studio door is you got to be real, right? I don't do this show to have prima donnas come on here and paint a picture of...
Which reminds me, I need my macchiato.
Oh, he wanted 1,000... Wayne's World 2, remember that?
Yes.
I need 1,000 brown M&Ms in a brandy glass. Or else he wouldn't go on stage that day. Del Preston. Oh, man. But 1,000 brown M&M stat. So I just... I just wanted to take a moment and reflect on the fact that we're talking about some of the biggest names in rock and roll, right? Corey Taylor?
Yeah.
Corey Taylor from Slipknot. And I apologize for not being more well-versed with his last name.
Dude,
but
it's fine.
He's that guy with the cool mask from Slipknot with the
Right.
cool voice.
Fair
But,
enough.
you know, these are people that I see on posters. These are people that are on T-shirts I wore to school when I was, you know, when I was younger. You wore on T-shirts.
Yeah, me too.
And there you are taking a pic. It's just so cool. Just so, like, this is what I mean. It's like that the group of guys, is it like the 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon or something like that? They can take any celebrity and somehow tie them within 7 movies to Kevin Bacon. You ever
Right.
seen them do that?
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm referring to. It's just the fact that if you have enough people in your network, it's amazing who you can reach out and touch. It's amazing who you can get perspective on. But more importantly, a guy coming from a small town, very humble beginnings, you know, is touring with gods of rock and roll. It's really quite incredible.
Yeah.
One thing I would like to know, we got people that are watching this right now, and they're obviously fascinated by what we're talking about, but I got to believe some of them are wondering something that I'm wondering too. And what is the darker side of that business, man?
There's a lot of it, man.
Is there loneliness?
Oh, totally. So I always have, like, I've got my my picture pose. Now, if you ever see me post a picture on Facebook, I've got a face that looks like this. Swear to God, every single picture you see will have that face in it. So, I mean, I would post sometimes at like 3 a.m, like, yeah, partying, having a great time, and I'm laying in my bunk just fucking exhausted and lonely just because people want to see the fun side of shit. They don't ever want to see, like, yeah, man, we had 3 fucking layovers to get to Australia today and no sleep and had to load 26 fucking pieces of gear that were overweight onto a plane and off the plane into a van, into a hotel, into storage, back out of storage, back into the van of the fucking venue to get loaded in, to set up, to go back, to take a nap for 3 fucking hours so you can go back and do the show. And yeah,
they don't think about that.
They don't
stuff.
think that's and we don't really want them to. We want people just to be like, yeah, man, this show is awesome, great job. Like, yeah, fucking set it right up and here we go, kind of thing. And we did. I remember it was all New Zealand, Australia, Japan tour, and we did 20 shows in 26 days, and they were all fly dates, and we had 32 pieces of checked gear that we had to deal with. And I mean, you're talking fucking like our tour managers swiping the Amex for $15,000 and fucking and just luggage shit.
Jesus,
just
Christ.
to do these shows. And
you said 20 shows in 26 days.
Yeah,
my God, that's
like that.
That's got to be nonstop.
Like, so we landed in Auckland, New Zealand, which is, if you haven't been there, if you ever get a chance, go to Auckland in like August time.
Okay.
It's towards the end of their winter. So it'll be like high 30s in the morning and it'll go up until like the 50s. But the sky when the sun rises, because you're going to be up at 3:30 in the fucking morning. There's how your internal clock works. It's like the same as like Buenos Aires. It's kind of purple.
No shit.
And the sun comes up and then it's amazing. So
that's incredible.
But every show that we would do, like we landed in Auckland and we had that day, the next day, and another day off.
Okay.
And then we did the show, and then we had another day off in that same city, and then we would fly to the next city.
No shit.
Kind of thing.
Wow.
So like that was cool. So we actually got to explore, but it was more of getting your body adjusted.
I was going to say the time zone changes, the jet lag, and then having to be on demand all the time. It's got to be very taxing.
So some strange things happen sometimes. I remember 2012.
Are we talking about like going in for an X-ray and there's a Matchbox car in your ass type of stuff?
That does happen too.
Okay. Right.
My first son was born, and I was my wife was supposed to be induced when I got home from tour. We were doing Soundwave in Australia. I was in Perth, Australia, literally the furthest part
I know where this is
from
going.
New York I could possibly be. I had my phone off.
Oh, no.
No data at all. I turned my phone, and I went out. Me and Vinny went out to Vinny Paul went out to the beach, and I got butt ass naked. I ran into the water because I was like, I'm gonna skinny dip in the Indian Ocean.
Why the fuck not?
I fucking want to, and so I did.
With Vinny Paul, no less.
Yeah. Well, Vinny stayed on the beach, but yeah, I did my own thing. But so I got back and I turned my phone on just to set my alarm. No data. All of a sudden, a text message came through. I have no fucking idea how, from my father-in-law saying Ashley's in labor.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah,
I knew it.
So I got on.
Fuck.
I got on Skype down in the fucking business office, and it was $30 for a half an hour of internet. We're talking 12, 13
So $1 a minute.
Yeah, 12, 13 hours I was down there with her fucking Skyping, or FaceTiming as you kids would call it nowadays.
You kids these days.
And I watched my son be born on there with Vinnie Paul and Zach Wilde behind me, fucking watching.
Zach Wilde?
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Bro,
Soundwave was like, we had 99 bands or something, like Slipknot, fucking Black Label Society, and like it was.
There's very few people that are, and not to discount the missing the birth of your child, to talk about Zach Wilde, but there's very few times in my life where I get starstruck, right? Because I'm that guy, you know, part of the reason I do the show, people are just people, you know, we're all just humans, we're cut from the same cloth, blah, blah, blah. Went to see Zach Wilde, the Zach Sabbath tour. It was like him, a drummer, and a bass player, okay? Yeah. And they were doing tribute, Black Sabbath tribute stuff. On it right there too. Holy fucking shit, you do. Yeah. Is that, it's Epiphone?
Gibson.
Or it is a Gibson, okay. And so it's me and shout out Jamie Allenson, a friend of mine, Jamie. And Jamie actually turned me on to Black Label and Zach in the gym, listening to him one day. And I just see him doing some heavy lifting, and he's just all into it. I'm like, what are you fucking listening to? And he played Funeral Bell, I think. Yeah. And I was just like, holy shit, this is good. And then something in the guitar was familiar to me. And I'm like, why do I feel like the same person that is playing guitar right now played on like
Ozzy,
the song Perry Mason? Yeah. He's like, you don't know who this is? I'm like, no. And he explained to me who Zach Wilde was, and that he was actually impressed that I would, by a guitar riff, that I was able to pick out the musician, having no fucking clue who he is.
Musicians are weird. We think differently.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's that ear. Thank you for calling me a musician, by the way.
Man, I got you.
Much fucking cooler.
I got you, baby. Don't
It's like a tattoo on my soul. But the guitar player for Mudvayne just called me a musician.
I ain't never gonna let you fail, man.
Oh God, I feel really fucking special right now. Okay, so excuse me. So he talks me into going to Poughkeepsie to see this show, right? And I'm into it, but Chance? I'm like, what's that?
Was it the Chance?
You know, that sounds
play in Poughkeepsie.
That sounds. It's an older venue. It's got an upper mezzanine.
The Chance.
It was the Chance. Yeah, it's like an old, really retro looking place. So we go in there. Yeah, get rid of the pillow if you want to.
It's not working.
It's weird, man. These chairs, it's like I sit in them and I'm great, and then like halfway through, I feel like I'm
start sweating,
crippled and shit. Yeah, no disrespect to anybody that's crippled.
Fat kid in an M&M factory.
Pretty much. But it's weird though. They're like super comfortable, and then they're not. Ruben, we got to work on the chairs. Let's make a note of that. Okay.
Next time, Lazy Boy recliner, please.
You know how it feels to be able to go, hey, Ruben, make sure we make a note of that. Right. And then after the episode, Ruben actually tells me everything I need to do that I'm fucking up on. So it's a beautiful marriage.
That's what they do, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the kind of probably on the road too.
Yeah, $100, dude. Yes, absolutely.
So we're at the Chance, and thank you for clarifying that. And Zach's performing; he's doing a great job. And he, as you know, during his show, he has his guitar techs, which is so cool now that I can actually share this story with one of them. They take his guitar cord and they follow him around. He goes down into the crowd. He plays solos. You know, does behind the neck and with the teeth and through just all the fucking cool shit. So he's playing, and he goes out to the back of the crowd, comes back through, and he's having a hard, like a crowd's kind of forming around him. And like most of us are like anywhere from late 20s to late 50s, right? And everybody, the camera's probably going wild with all this movement. And we're all very respectful. You know, we're rockers. It's the artist doing his thing. But there's like these 6 fucking Jersey Shore looking douchey Tulio leather jacket, blowout hair, just tools. Just like open the Craftsman toolbox, crescent wrench, Joey, Vinny, and bada boop. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So they're surrounding him, taking selfies while he's playing. And he's like, you know, he's got the hair, you know, sweaty hair hanging over his eyes. I could see his eyes. He's like darting around looking for a way out. And his security guys are like trying to bump these guys. And the kids were pretty built up, you know, they were juiced up. They were big kids. And one of the guitar techs and security guys looks over at Jamie and me, and of course we're both in black rib tank tops, you know, fresh off the gym, all swole up. Jamie's not a small guy. Well, no, he looks at us, he goes, "Hey," he's like, "Give us a hand." Like, huh? And Jamie, I'll never forget. To this day, it looked like he was like a robot that was just there, and then all of a sudden, its master gave the call. He was like, yes. And he just, boom, started separating. I mean, this guy was fucking tossing. Like, I don't mean visualize toss. I mean, actually literally picking up people and throwing them. And I'm like, I look at the guy, he's like, yes, thank you. I'm like,
okay. You
there's
got
my cue. Yeah, exactly.
Right?
So we just start fucking just throwing people, right? And we were only doing it to the people that were having the adverse effect on the show. we get him to the bottom of the stage right by the stairs, and he turns around and he goes, does one of these, right? Goes back on stage, and I'm like, like I was just fucking starstruck. I never get that way. But Zakk Wylde, just the level of talent. He's like a god.
If you ever get a chance to sit down and talk with Zakk, he is one of the greatest storytellers of all time.
He's got that Jersey accent. He'll fucking talk your ear off, huh?
Yes. Like he was like, oh yeah, fucking Father Van Halen, come over here. That's fucking great. He's so great.
So,
but yeah.
Real quick though, the story gets better. So he goes on stage, plays the rest of the set. We're getting now towards the encore, and we see him walk over, and every 3 seconds with Zakk, it's spit, right? Drink a giant loogie, goes on stage. So he takes a drink of water, spits, walks over to his guitar techs, and I see him kind of doing one of these things and doing one of these things, and they're like, okay, and they start to get his cord coiled up again. I'm like, this guy's gonna fucking do this again? Like, all right. Now my mind's going, I'm observant, right? I see what's going on, so I know he's coming down again, and I'm thinking, are they gonna go somewhere else probably, or is this gonna be another opportunity to serve the Lord Zakk, right? So he comes down, walks 16 steps, just boom, 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 playing an easy solo the whole time, stops directly in front of me and Jamie. The security guys make like a little halo, and he just goes to town, just shredding.
Nice.
I got it in my phone. I took a video. I think it's like 7.5 minutes. He just sits there and fucking shreds. And you know with Zakk, like the solo takes on its own form, and it's like sets of chords, just like fast and then slow and then super fast and then slow and then so fast you can't even watch his hands. You can't even recognize the movement. And then it goes here and it goes there. It just, obviously, my level of enthusiasm and what I'm saying right now, I'm probably not describing it well, but I gotta believe
dude, you're
somebody.
Actually doing a pretty good job.
Doing it some justice.
I've seen it so many times that I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's just like and you're just like, what? You're like, holy fuck! And then just how far he stretches the strings, and it's just very. For somebody like me who owns a guitar, I own a Gibson Les Paul. I do not know how to play it. I own it because it's a beautiful guitar. It looks great in my little music area. Yeah. When Chuck, before he hurt his hand, he'd come over. I'd let him play it. When my dad's over, it's there in hopes that one day somebody comes over that's worthy of shredding, and I can play drums and.
Yeah, have some fun.
Marcus, did we just have a moment?
I think we just had a moment.
I think we just had a moment. So anyway, sorry, we'll revisit that at a later date. But
we're gonna have to move the podcast over to Luke's basement.
I should have brought a fucking guitar, man. Yeah, Jesus Christ, hindsight is 2020.
I've got fucking like 30 of them. I should have brought one.
We could do a follow up.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
So he does this solo, right? Gets done, and diddly dee dee diddly dee dee, and then as the guitar is sustaining, turns, fist bumps Jamie, fist bumps me. Turns around and goes back to the stage. And Jamie looks at me, and all I could picture was him in a spaghetti strap tank top with a skirt on, going like a little Chinese Tokyo Drift girl, like, oh my God, I could just say hi. He was so excited. I gave this guy the biggest fucking hug.
Oh, that's amazing.
And we looked on stage, and Zakk kind of like looked over his shoulder and smiled and did one of these and went back to it. I fell in love with Zakk Wylde in that moment, just because he came back and paid homage, was like, thanks for doing what you did, without a word spoken, but it was a conversation through music and movement. We knew exactly what was said, and we were very grateful. And I got to believe, to this date, if you went and you asked Zakk Wylde about that moment, you'd have no fucking clue.
Probably
none whatsoever.
But you never know, man. He seems to retain a lot of shit.
Does he really?
Yes, he does.
Well, maybe one day I'll ask him that question. But so when you were talking about your son and the birth and Zakk, that just took me to a whole nother place. But
that's what this is supposed to happen.
It is. But we're talking about the dark moments, right? Where I had asked you what the not so glamorous moments are. So you missed the birth of, was this your first child?
Yeah, but it wasn't the first time that it happened.
Oh.
Yeah. So
take me down this road, Mr. Rafferty.
So what had happened was obviously my first son was born, and I watched it on Skype, and then I had a 36-hour transit back. And by the time I got back home, my son was
6 years old.
He was out of the hospital back home. So that was interesting. I
so
came
it took
home
3-4 days to get there?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I flew from Perth to fucking...
Forgive me, but Perth is Australia, correct?
Yeah,
okay.
So Perth is over here to Sydney.
Yep.
Sydney to fucking Singapore to Tokyo to LAX to Chicago to fucking Syracuse. with
It's like a family circus cartoon.
Basically, that's what had happened.
Jesus.
But I finally got home and I met my son for the first time, which was incredible. So okay, so then that.
What's your son's name?
My first son, his name is Dane, and
Shout out, Dane.
And my new son, my youngest son, is Hunter. Hunter's 9. Dane is 11.
Awesome.
Gonna be 11. So we're gonna fast forward a little bit. I would like to say that we sat and planned it out that we were going to have a second child, but
We can pretend.
That's not exactly how it worked. But yeah, let's pretend that we did. So anywho, I'm out on tour with a band called Saxon, guitar teching for them, and a band called Fozzy with Chris Jericho.
Okay.
So, I'm in. I remember it very, very well because it was October 6th is my birthday. I turned 30 years old.
Okay.
So I got a 30-pack of beer and an 8-ball, and I sat in my hotel room and I cried for a little while about turning 30. And then fast forward 3 days. Now my son was supposed to be born in the middle of November, I believe.
Okay.
I get a phone call from my wife when I'm in Seattle, and she's like, "Babe, I'm going into labor." Now I was just visiting with my sister-in-law who lives in Seattle area, like an hour beforehand or something like that. So then she's like. I'm like, what do you mean you're going to labor?
So I want to make sure I understand this correctly.
Yep.
First son was born.
Yep.
You're in Perth.
Yep.
Now you're back on tour with a different band.
Over here. Yeah.
In a different part of the world.
Yep.
And your
In
other
Seattle.
son
So,
is coming.
Yeah. So my wife is like, I'm going into labor. I'm like, oh God.
I would have to believe that both of you said the one she was planning on being induced when you came home.
Right.
So that was, at least you made the effort to not be
This
in the
one
wrong
was
place
a
at the
month
wrong time.
early now.
A
a month early.
Okay.
So
any demonization of Marcus for not being there that's in anybody's heads right now is not justified. You did?
I made it.
No
I called a buddy of mine, and I bought him a plane ticket to come in and cover my gig for me because I wasn't going to make the band do it. They didn't fucking stick their wiener in my wife. I did.
That's true.
You know, so I flew out.
Probably be a whole different dynamic if they did.
It'd be a little weird.
It would be a little weird.
And I got a red eye home, and I made it home like 2 hours before Hunter actually arrived. So like I was like, if I don't make this one, I ain't gonna have a wife no more. So I might as well just get my fucking ass on a plane.
Broke.
And I remember like I was getting paid from both bands separately in a different way. I came home with like $6,000 cash or something in my pocket. And I'm flying with this. I'm like, God, God, I hope it's under $10,000. I didn't even know. Because if you get flagged in the airport, it's not a good situation.
You didn't leave the 8-ball in your pocket, did you?
No. I finished that nights before.
Okay. So a whole different explanation at TSA.
Yeah. I don't think TSA would take too kindly to that one.
No.
So fucking, my mother-in-law is there, and I walk in and I just handed her the cash. I'm like, here, bring this home. I'll come and pick it up later.
This is my peace offering.
And she looked at me. She's like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, I'll explain later. It's all legit money. So, so I got to actually
notice no one ever hesitates to take the possibly illegitimate money.
Yeah.
See, I robbed a bank and went straight to the landlord and paid like rent 3 months ahead of time.
Oh, there you go.
And still had the bandana wrapped around my neck. She's like, this looks sketchy. I don't think it's legitimate, but it's for me. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm going to find a way to justify this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's funny how that works out.
Not even going to question it. Just thank you so much, Luke. I'll see you in 3 months.
So mother-in-law took the money.
Yeah.
Your son's born.
Yep. And I'm like, all right, I'm like, I made it. All is well. Get home. I have a the house that I had to buy the trailer or whatever.
Yep.
Never even been there before.
You'd never been there.
No, like this is all really very new shit.
Did that stuff? Did the purchase of the new home transpire when you were abroad? Okay.
Yeah. No, not when I was still in the States, but like I had signed all the paperwork and everything, and then she got the keys and moved everything in when I was on tour.
You got a tough girl, man.
Dude, she's a fucking champion.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I didn't have her, I would be dead.
Yeah.
I've totally been dead because I would have still been drinking and eating pills like a fucking asshole.
You know, that we do have a lot in common.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
and that's, paying homage to my wife. I've said it many times on this show that wouldn't be where I'm at without her, but you kind of stepped that up to a whole new level with you wouldn't be there or you wouldn't be here at all if it weren't for her. And I got to say that's probably accurate for my situation as well.
Right.
They say
we're a lot more
every
alike than we really think.
Yeah, I think so.
Did we just become best friends?
His name is Galco. It's Hebrew for kindness.
Do you want to go practice karate in the garage?
Well, by rearranging the podcast studio to 2-man, we have a lot more room for activities.
We could totally put a bunk beds in here.
Well, I think so.
1,000%.
I'm still stuck on karate.
Fucking A.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
your wife.
Yep.
Have there ever been, I don't want to say have there, because if you say no, I'm going to call you a fucking liar. So I'm going to approach it this way. What have been the toughest moments? This can't be easy for her.
Oh, God,
I mean,
no.
I'm not going to say it's easy for you either. Being away from the woman you love is difficult, and the mother of your kids.
So for a while now, she was working a full-time job and taking care of the kids and the house and the dog while I was on tour.
Jesus Christ.
You know, she actually had a falling out with her place that she was working at over the summer when I was on my tour with the Rob Zombie that we did there, Mudvayne tour. And I told her, I'm like, listen, babe, I'm like, you've worked so fucking hard. I'm like, take the rest of the year off. I got this. I'm like, if you decide you want to go back to work and you find something that you like, I will support you 100% in your decision to do that. But I just want you to just work on your own personal self in your head and the kids and whatever else. So
you don't have to work out of necessity.
Exactly.
Like if there's something you want to do it, but why don't you just chill and take a break?
Yeah.
It's good, man.
So I came home and I called my cousin because I was sitting on my couch being a fucking fat asshole doing nothing. And I called my cousin.
Very self-defeating, Marcus.
Yeah, man. And I was like, I'm like, hey, man, I'm like, I need to do something. Like, what do you got? And I thought he was going to put me back up in recon cleaning cars because that's what he had said before. And he's like, why don't you come sell cars at Chrysler? I'm like, all right, fuck it. Might as well. And then I thought about it, and I'm like, it kind of makes sense because I know all of my GM shit.
Yeah.
So I sold Chevrolet and whatever for a while. I'm like, I might as well learn all of the business, all of the different brands, so that when all of this shit ends, because everything's going to end one day, I'm not going to be this guitar player in this band forever because people don't fucking live forever.
Could become mud varicose vein.
I mean, it could very well. So, but I'm like, maybe I'll be a sales manager someday and I can sit behind a desk and just fucking earn $150 a year and chill.
That's really what it is, too. Yeah. As a new car franchise. Yeah. That's the voice of experience. Yeah. Like, I remember thinking, these fucking fat bastards with their polo shirts and their hairy chests and their gold chains, they just they just sit back and they click away at their fucking Reynolds and Reynolds computer and they desk the deal and they don't even get. Does your manager get up to actually go look at a trade-in?
Actually, my new we have a new sales manager that just took over. Our old sales manager went to a different dealership. So but he was an F&I guy for the longest time. So Joe is like, today I was working with a customer you and I were talking about earlier with the F-150 situation.
The guy where they were going to rent him a check for $50,000.
He came over, introduced himself to the customer.
Okay.
And he's like, I'm going to go work your deal. This is like, I mean, he is very involved. And I'm like, who the fuck? Wow, really? I'm like, hang on, man, because my old sales managers didn't do that shit. They'd be like, thanks for buying. See you later. Shopping again and tell your friends. Kind of thing.
$50 for a bird dog.
Yeah, right. Well, bird dog you $50. Good luck. Have a good one. Yeah.
Hey, can I bum a cigarette?
So, no, I'm actually very shocked at how Joe's doing it. I'm like, you know what, dude?
Still didn't answer my question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Does he actually get up and go appraise the trade-ins?
Yes, he does.
Okay, so he's a good manager.
Yeah, he drives it too.
Really?
Yeah.
He doesn't just get in, sit in it, put it in drive, then in reverse, and back to park.
We go around the lot. So we got a little, it's a nice little lot up there.
You guys got a good sized lot up there.
Yeah.
So how long have you been in the business?
I've been in almost 3 years.
Okay, so do you ever experience this? The manager that goes out to appraise the trade, he sits in it, he starts the car, goes from park to drive to reverse, back to park, and if he hears it shift and clunk into each one, puts it in park, then he goes, and walks, like somehow he's accomplished something.
Right, yeah.
You can have a transmission that won't leave first gear. Yeah. And won't go in reverse.
Exactly.
But the synchros will still click and make a noise when you move the shifter. Yep. So I have yet to try to determine and discover what that actually does, but I've probably seen 15 sales managers do it over my car career.
Do you have your sales managers drive?
If my sales managers, when my sales managers call me on a vehicle, they'll say, what they do is they send me the same pictures that we present online for our vehicles that we sell, the same 16 pictures, okay? Then they send me a quick text message, 120,387 miles, pulls slightly to the right, left rear wheel bearing noise, over bumps, it doesn't rattle, but when you put it from drive to park or drive to reverse, there's a clunking noise, mild cigarette odor, 2 cigarette burn holes in the front seat right around the crotch. That's what I get. Okay. Also, if there's like rust, I'll get, you know, one picture of the rust up close, one picture of the inside of the wheel well to see if it's come through, and one picture back far enough till you can get some perspective as how much is there and what does it actually look like.
Yeah.
My guys are petrified to not describe a trade-in to me accurately. And it's not because I literally, I don't believe in the history of my company, and we've been in business since 2016. I've never written a sales manager up, meaning they're not angels.
Yeah.
I've never actually had to come to the point where I've written them up because my criticism and my rearing is always constructive, and it always comes from a place of common sense, right? So I don't go to them and say, you fucking asshole, you're supposed to drive the fucking car. You didn't drive the car. Now we found out it's got a bad trans. Jesus fucking Christ. You know what? Thanks a lot. What I do is I explain to them why it's important. So I'll say, guys, let me ask you a question. This trade-in, right? We sold the car for $22,000. We gave them $3,000 for their trade-in. Okay, how much money are we making selling this car? Oh, $2,200. Okay, so we got this car we're selling for $22,000. We gave them $3,000 for the trade-in. That means they brought us a check for $19,000 plus tax and fees. Correct? Okay, yes. Where do we become profitable? Well, anything over $19,800. Okay, so anything over $19,800, we are profitable. Okay, so you got a check for $19,000. Correct? Yep. Okay, so right now, we're negative $800. We've lost $800 selling that car until we recuperate the $3,000 that we've put into the car. So we have essentially wrote that person a check for $3,000. Why have we done that? You know that because I'm paying you on this deal, right? And I haven't sold the trade-in yet? Right. So my trade-in account has bought this car for $3,000 and paid the dealership to be able to pay you on the deal. So now, when you go out to buy something, okay, are you going to spend $3,000 of your money and not drive the vehicle?
Exactly.
Well, no. Well, let me ask you this question. Are you going to spend $3,000 of your money and not look underneath the car for rust in a 2008 with 116,000 miles? Well, no. Okay. Are you going to not plug in the OBD scanner and check and see if the monitors are ready or if the check engine light has been recently erased when you spend your $3,000? And the answer, of course, is a resounding no. And then they kind of get that look like, God, I fucking hate it when he makes sense because it really floors me because I can't talk my way out of it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's how I approach everything, right? You know, they don't fill out a credit app correctly. It's like, okay, so, you know, this particular deal goes to the bank. We don't have the income in there correctly. Two things can happen. Number one, they can approve the deal and we get excited, but then we get the pay stub and it doesn't line up and we have nothing.
Got steps for days.
Yep, we're still at nothing because even though we've sold them on this grandiose idea that the customer is capable of buying this car, they've asked for proof. We can't prove what we said. Now, two things have happened. Number one, the approval is no longer, it's no good. And number two, it makes it look like we lied in the first place, right?
Yep.
So, and you explain these things to them, you help them understand and see the logic and legitimize why these things are necessary. And that's, my guys are always going to drive a trade-in. They're always, and they're going to do it because they understand why. And that's why I believe that my training for my guys is effective. But back to your situation, you know, in the car business. One thing I wanted to ask you, I'm not going to ask you if you enjoy touring with rock bands more than selling cars, but what I am going to ask you is, do you find enjoyment in the sale of automobiles?
I do. So the way that I was able to explain it, actually, I think you and I had this conversation privately, but I will share. Back when I was guitar teching for bands.
Okay.
At the end of the show, when that last note was hit, and I get the guitar back from the guitar player and everything went well. And I was just like, fucking yes. I get that same feeling when I close on a car.
Okay.
You know, and so I actually, it sounds really kind of weird and different, but I love selling cars.
Yeah.
It's like, it's one of those things. It's like a drug. It's like chasing something, and I was a goddamn addict for a long time.
I was just going to go there, Marcus.
Yeah,
it
man.
doesn't sound weird and different at all.
Yeah.
Okay. The same pleasure centers that we get when we take a drug. Okay. And I'm not going to get into some philosophical and deep discussion about drugs and serotonin and receptors and all that stuff. But what I will say is, you know, you're an intelligent guy and you've already figured it out, right? So the same thrill that you get of producing beautiful music for a group of 40,000 people and getting cheers and feeling like a superstar, it's a reward.
Yep.
Your body has this state of normal, and we operate in this state of normal, or whatever the fuck normal would be, right?
Nobody knows.
Nobody's fucking normal. But it's we'll call it homeostasis, the normal mode, right? So we're operating, and then things happen in our life that either give us a downward spike, right? We get punched in the dick. Our girl cheats on us. We eat something that's, this food that's gone bad. Whatever negative, intervention causes us to kind of spike down, right? And it's the opposite of pleasure. Then we have these moments that kind of stimulate the reward center of our brain, where we're being, either our ego is stroked, or we get a physical sensation that's pleasure, or we get some sort of accomplished goal or some sort of victory, right? And it all spikes that same pleasure center in our brain. So you might be surprised to find, or you might not be surprised to find, based on your personal feelings on the subject, that probably 85, I would venture to say confidently, 85 to 90% of all successful people are addicts. Okay, and successful salespeople. Okay, I want to make sure I put that in there. The successful fucking rocket scientists probably aren't banging 8 balls in the shed out back.
Probably not.
So successful salespeople. For instance, there's a guy that I follow that's a big influencer and does real estate and is a big sales trainer. Previous drug addict. Myself, successful business owner. I got this show. I'm the kind of guy like you. Got my notepad. I start every day with notes. How many things can I get accomplished today? What are my priorities? Always trying to accomplish goals, always trying to make progress every single day. Idle hands, certainly the devil's playground with me. I always need stimulation. I always need to be firing on every cylinder and have something occupying my mind. The sale of an automobile is somehow, and I'd love to know the science behind it, it is somehow a drug. It is, and I think the closing of any sale probably. Okay, and it's,
imagine selling a house. You got to have the same fucking
closing a big stock deal,
anything.
A business merger, anything where you go in and you're the person you're trying to sell is adversarial to some point. They're trying to negotiate against you, or they're saying they're not ready to buy. You have to take this situation. You have to manipulate it in a way that is, I would like to think morally sound. You're selling based on facts and logic, and you're arranging the facts in a way that get the person to see it your way. It's almost like you're saying, listen, no disrespect, but the way you're looking at this scenario is not accurate. I'm going to explain to you how you need to see it my way, because my way is accurate, and my way, believe it or not, is actually going to benefit you. You walked in this door thinking that your way was the best way. Not only am I going to show you that my way is the best way, but you're actually going to open your wallet and you're going to pay me to do that.
Exact same thing today.
Please share.
Yeah. With my customer that had the F-150 situation there and whatnot. I actually had a question for you, because I'm curious.
Hit me, brother.
Did you get to meet Grant Cardone?
Yeah, I did.
Is he cool?
Yes, is the quick answer.
Okay.
That's a many-faceted diamond.
Yes. So I've always been very fascinated by him. Like, he's one of them people that, I'm in fucking sales. You look up to Grant Cardone.
Grant Cardone will be in this studio. Okay. Nice. I say that
if you don't call me when he's here, I'm gonna be fucking mad at you. Be like, hey man, look, I got this dude that plays guitar in a really big band that wants to come and fucking meet you for like 10 seconds. He's not creepy, and he won't put you in the basement.
You know what? So all I would have to do is tell Grant that Marcus has struggled with addiction. He's come from a very humble beginning, and he's now a major, musician he's a musician, a front and center musician for a major international rock band. He would hop on his phone, he'd look up Mudvayne, he'd see that they're internationally known and have millions of fans.
He
and
might even
platinum
be a
records.
fan.
He very well could be. Yep. And he'd go, shit, man, bring him in. Let me talk to him. And that's who Grant Cardone is. So, I don't know, how the fuck Ruben, how do we always talk about that fucking guy on my show? Jesus Christ.
Look, well, because you talked to a lot of sales.
Well, that's what it is. A lot of salespeople, a lot of influencers.
I saw the pictures, and I'm like, man, fucking look.
You talking about me at where? At the Speak Off or in his studio or where?
At the Speak Off.
Okay. So Grant Cardone, okay, and he's getting a hard on right now going, oh, they're talking about me. So, but you know what, good for him, because when you've increased your reach to the point where that many people know who you are, one of the things I've been following.
Who doesn't know 10X?
A lot of people, believe it or not.
Okay.
But in our space, everybody.
Got it,
okay.
yeah.
So, like, when I met my wife, she had no fucking clue who Grant Cardone was. She sure does now. All my sales guys, when I hired them, no clue. Now that they follow him. Grant Cardone is somebody who is really it draws a lot of parallels, or I draw a lot of parallels to him. You know, we'll pay homage to him because he's older and obviously more successful at this point. We'll see where I'm at 62.
Okay. Fair enough.
He's a guy that came from humble beginnings and created, right? And just said, I'm not satisfied with what he was told. Your victories will be going each day without using drugs. And he said, no, fuck that. That's not for me. I don't want to live if that's all I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
I'm going to become a celebrity. I'm going to help people. I'm going to buy real estate. I'm going to do, and he's done all those things, right? The reason that I have attended Grant Cardone's events is because they're incredible networking centers, okay?
Absolutely.
When you go there, so if I said to you, okay, if you're a person who's success-minded and wants to try to improve your position in the marketplace, and I said, I'm flying to a place, it's costing me some money to get there. I'm paying $5,000 for a ticket, $1,000 for the plane, $500 for the hotel, $500 for the rental car. It's going to be $7,000, but you're going to go into a room, and for 2 to 3 days, you're going to be surrounded by nobody, but nothing or nobody, but people who are trying to reach tremendous levels of success. There will be billionaires trying to become trillionaires. There will be millionaires trying to become billionaires. There will be people that make 6 figures trying to make 7. And there will be people that are just graduating high school that have seen a YouTube clip of his and have just been fascinated with the reach that he has and the ask that he has of the marketplace. And they're just fascinated by him. I went to his Growth Con in 2020. I watched John Travolta, Usher, Floyd Mayweather, Magic Johnson, Dana White, Brad Parscale, who was Donald Trump's political campaign manager at the time, Scooter Braun, who was Justin Bieber's manager, and several other very noteworthy people. And the reason I went there is because he was kind of doing, he did with GrowthCon what I do with this show, which is bring in special people, provide value. Bring in special people, provide value. The difference is he monetizes, I don't. Maybe I will one day. It'll make sense to do that. And if it does, pay me, bitches. Exactly. But, you know, I went there because there was value there, right? And you asked me if I met him. I did. I was in the basement of the, not the basement, the bottom floor of the, what the hell's that? Mandalay Bay Event Center and Hotel.
I know it well.
That's I'm sure you do for different reasons than me. And it was like 5:30 in the morning. I was going down to the gym, okay, to get a workout in before the sessions that day. And I walk around the corner, and I'm walking at a breakneck pace. You know, I'm trying to make time, get it done, get warmed up, get in the gym, get back to the show, you know, whatever. And boom, I literally ran into him, okay? And he's a small man. He's a little guy. Okay?
Fair enough.
He's a little individual. But just emanates energy, right? And he was in like a I want to say like a tracksuit or like jogging pants and with a 10X logo on it. And he had a guy walking behind him carrying his suit and another guy filming him. And it was just larger than life. And I was like, you know, this is fucking cool. I didn't know who it was at first because I expected him to be bigger.
Right.
And I'm looking down, very diminutive in size, and no disrespect to GC, but he's not a large man, right? So even more to his
well, I mean,
benefit,
to be fair, you're kind of large.
I'm not a small guy, you know. I forget that sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 5'7" and 3/4 when I'm on my tippy toes.
3/4, I love it. That's what short guys always say. There's always a fraction.
There has to be
there.
a fraction.
So I bumped into him, and I got tears in my eyes because the guy's had a profound effect on my life. You know, I won't not say, and it's very humbling to do on your own show, but as a guy's a tremendous individual. He's had an influence on me. He's part of the reason that I decided to take, you know, him, Rich Piana, you know, Donald Trump, just for the fact that he decided to make such a quantum leap into politics from business. There's a bunch of big names. Arnold Schwarzenegger, even though his new stance on politics, I just assume slap him across his beautiful face. You know,
I think politics are generally like assholes in opinions.
Everybody
Everybody's
has
got
one,
one,
they all stink. Yep, 100%. They're like Camaros.
Oh, yeah.
Just kidding, guys. So I met him. It was very brief. I was like, listen, I get it, man. I'm in business. I'm not here to beg you for I don't want none of that. I want to look you in your eyes. I want to say thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for being who you are. That's it, man. I appreciate you. You've brought a lot of value to my life. Some things have changed in what I'm asking of my future and my potential because of what you've inspired me to do. I'm here today for you. I'm doing your GrowthCon. Just wanted to say thank you for being who you are. I'd like to give you a hug. And he teared up, and so did I. And he gave me a hug, and he went, you know, his bottom lip was kind of, he was like, well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. I got to go. Man, hey, get his email, man. We're going to send him a book or something. Okay. All right, big guy. Have a good workout now. And he went, boom. I think I kind of caught him off guard. I think he got emotional, and he was like, oh, shit, I got to keep him. I could be completely wrong. I do know he got emotional. His eyes got glossy, and I asked his handler, or whoever the guy was, I was like, is he all right? He's like, yeah, man, sometimes he gets like that. He's an emotional dude. I'm like, all right, cool. And I walked away from that going, he's real.
Yeah.
He's a real human fucking being. God bless him. Or maybe he was just mad because he didn't get laid this morning. His wife's pretty hot.
I mean, could be.
But
shit does happen to the best of us.
Yes, I did meet him. You'd like him if you met him. He'll be on this show one day. How do I know that? Because I'm going to get so loud and make so much noise in the social media marketplace that his people will reach out to me, and they're going to be like, hey, remember that episode you did with Marcus Rafferty? You were talking about GC? Yeah, he wants to come on. And he will, because at that point we'll have, what do you think, Ruben, 10 million followers? What's up? So, long fucking answer to your question. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Beautiful. So I want to kind of just take it back, way back in the way back machine, okay? I would like to know where you drew your affinity to the guitar.
Oh, that's an easy one. So
when did you first pick up a guitar?
My mother was a guitar player and singer. She's got a great voice. She would sing to me and my brother all the time when we were kids. And she showed me my first chords, the first song I ever learned, which was the rodeo song. You know, the hey motherfucker with the, you know, whatever. My mom's a very colorful lady. I don't,
Marcus.
So you're gonna have to listen to it. It's one of the parody kind of country songs.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. They call the thing rodeo. Yeah, I know. Okay, the rodeo song.
The rodeo song. Yeah, that was the first song she showed me.
I'm with you.
Which is kind of funny because I was fucking like 6 or something. You know. But that kind of just goes from my upbringing. Just like I learned all my curse words from the Fortino family. I used to go over there and drink coffee, and they would swear all the time.
Brother, I learned about beer at 12. So
yeah, no, exactly. Yeah,
start them young.
I had a really young childhood because all my friends were older. But so then my mom showed me all my first chords and everything, and then I ended up growing up in the school that I went to in Central Square. We had a lot of musicians, like local bands. Like there was a band called Jameis Breed back in the day, a band called -7, a band called Beyond Fall, and like
were these good bands or just shitty garage bands?
They were excellent local bands.
No shit. Okay.
That came out of the Central Square High School, and it's crazy that we had so much talent into that school. And then I mean, a lot of people look at that I've heard people say to me, that out of all of the excellent musicians that we've had, that we grew up with, all these bands that me and a couple other people, like my friend Joe Altier, made it out. You know,
is that Just Joe? Is that who Joe Altier is?
Yes,
okay,
Just Joe, and actually Just Joe.
He's a talented guy.
He's great. You should have him on here. He's got a great story too.
No shit. Okay.
Yeah. Him and I did a Christmas song we wrote together. It's called "Bend Over, Bing Crosby, Here Comes Christmas." It's a great song. Go ahead and you can plug that one. But we had so much talent come out of there. But I grew up on a road called Elderberry Lane, and now my parents' road, Rafferty Drive, funny enough, is off Elderberry Lane.
Okay.
But we would always just play guitar, me and my friends, and I would just like I was obsessed with it. It was like I had 3 things that I liked to do. I liked to play guitar, smoke weed, and play with my dick. I had time to do all 3 of them because I was a kid growing up. It worked out real well.
I think 2 out of those 3 is pretty much status quo for most young men growing up.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, even if you ain't got a guitar, you know.
I was thinking even if you haven't got a dick. But
yeah. Either way.
When you saw your mom play,
yep.
Did it do something to you? Like when I heard drums the very first time, well, I don't know if it was the very fucking first time, but the first time live in front of me, somebody talented was playing drums and kind of performing for me. It did something to me, and I was like, it was like almost magical. It was like this person has some sort of magical ability to create music, and this device is creating a sound that I really, really like. Was it similar to you with the guitar, or am I just fucking goofy?
No, it totally was, and that was more like my mom showed me the basic chords and whatnot. My Uncle Don, which is my mom's twin brother, she has 7 brothers and sisters, but her twin brother, my Uncle Don Martell, is a fucking fantastic guitar player.
And for our listeners, the basic chords, it's not like the power chord and the guitar chord.
It's
You're
like
talking
a
about like
G
C,
chord,
G.
a D, and basic. My mom, and she didn't even use a pick. She's a finger picker.
No shit. Like a Carlos Santana type of
ding,
ding.
Yeah,
no
where my Uncle Don is just a shredder from fucking hell. I was talking on the phone with him a few weeks back about, he was telling me about some program that he just bought because he records a lot. And the whole time he's talking to me, he's just shredding. I'm like, hey man, you want me to fucking pick up a guitar and just start shredding over you while you talk like fucking dick?
It's so funny when an artist talks to another artist. Like,
oh, yeah.
It's like, you know, I don't call some, you know, another car dealer friend and he's in the middle of closing a car deal while he's talking to me. You know?
Yeah, right.
You're talking to your uncle and he's just sitting there banging away, playing a riff.
Just fucking ridiculously good. He's like my brother, just like one of those anomalies. Like, how the fuck? You know what? I'm not even going to ask questions.
You're right. Like, I'm so glad that I know you so I can witness this, but
Correct.
I hate the fact that I know you because you just make it look so fucking
Yeah.
easy.
So what I would do, I would go to concerts, like I'd go to Black Label Society concert.
Okay.
And the whole time I would zoom in, like I would stare at the Zach's fingers.
Okay.
Just to see where he's at when he's playing. And then I would go home and grab my guitar, and I had like kind of almost like a photographic
Okay,
memory
I
sort
get
of
it.
thing.
Yeah.
So I remembered where the positions were. I knew their tuning, so I would tune my guitar to that, and I would figure out how to play like that.
No shit.
How to play songs.
Did you ever watch somebody and go, there's no way?
No.
No? It was always like, I can do that.
It was I'm gonna figure out a way to do that. Yeah.
See, that right there, so I'm going to go a little bit off topic. That right there is one of the things that is very prevalent on this show, and I like to touch on when it comes, and now is one of those times where I have to stop and I have to address the audience, right? What you just said. So I just asked you, when you watched a famous rock guitar player who's known as a legend and a god in their right and in what they do, doing what they do, did you ever look at it and say, oh my God, there's no fucking way, right? 99 out of 100 people would look at that and say, there's no way, this guy's the God, he is who he is for a reason, we'll leave that to him, and I might try to do something similar, but I'll never be that. You said, okay, I got to figure that out. I got to do that, and possibly maybe one up that and learn that so I can branch from there. That's the mindset of a champion, Marcus. Now you sit here and you make the fat jokes and, you know, the goofy jokes, and you know, you create a lot of humor at your own expense, and I think people appreciate that. It shows humility. It shows that you don't take yourself too seriously, and it shows that you like to keep the room warm, and you don't mind taking a few hits to make sure everybody's having a good time.
Exactly, and if you own all your own shit anyways, nobody else can pull it out on you.
Exactly, dude. That's, man, truer words were never spoken.
Yep.
Transparency and just complete and total no bullshit. There's no fucking bullshit. You don't paint yourself into a corner, and nobody can ever call you out, right? So you're sitting here in this studio as a major musician, celebrity, part of an international rock sensation, just a mega presence, right? And you're saying something that just about everybody that sits in that chair that has a noteworthy presence says, and that is, essentially, in a nutshell, I saw something happening that was monumental, and I had to figure out how to do it or do it better. And when I asked them, were you intimidated by it? Did you think that that's not something that's of me, that's beyond me? The answer is a resounding and an enthusiastic no. And it comes instantly, no, I never thought that. Yeah. Rita West, she's an IFBB pro bodybuilder. She holds 9 women's powerlifting records. You're talking about just a massive, strong, incredible woman. It takes most people 10 years to get their bodybuilding pro card. She got it in like 4 months.
Do you know
in
Wyatt,
like 2 shows.
Wyatt Lorenzo?
Wyatt Lozano?
Yeah, Lozano.
Well, how many episodes ago was Wyatt? 2 episodes
was he
ago?
On it?
Yeah.
So Wyatt did, his team does security for me at the Loft.
Yep. The
and I had the
Strikes
pleasure
Back
of actually working alongside
Imperial
with him.
Guard, sorry.
Imperial Guard,
Yeah.
yes. I had the pleasure of working alongside of him, and his voice caught me like.
What do you mean Wyatt's voice?
Exactly.
It actually sounds like he's trying to talk low.
He was like the sweetest dude at the same time, like a gentle giant, like you are, basically.
Brother,
yeah.
I wish, it's so funny, and this is, people are going to know now that this was kind of an impromptu episode and that you didn't research me and I didn't, do a ton of research on you, because
whenever anybody brings up bodybuilding, that's who I just go to, because that's
Wyatt.
Yeah,
he's a big, huge son of a bitch.
It's you or Wyatt.
I appreciate that. I've gotten musician and bodybuilding presence. I'm not going to fit out the fucking door, Ruben.
Listen, man, if you need a tug, I'll help you out. We can go in the back.
I appreciate that. This guy's a man of the people, bro. It's fucking just the selflessness, just the humility.
Man of the free, home of the tugging.
Oh, goodness gracious. Not many people fluster me, Mr. Rafferty, but I think you've made me lose my train of thought.
Sorry about
what
that.
the fuck was I talking
Wyatt.
about? Wyatt. No, you talked about Wyatt.
Yeah,
I was
you were talking about Rita.
So I was talking about a person who, when asked if this thing that they saw done if when I asked them if they thought they could do it, or, you know, if they thought it was out of their ability, that no fucking way, you know, didn't hesitate to tell me no. Rita was somebody that very much was that way. Wyatt, same thing with him. You know, Rob Senecal, he was talking about seeing Charlie Caprera, who's a, you know, major car dealer, doing his thing. And he said, you know, I can do that. And it wasn't even like, that looks really fucking hard, but I think if I just hone my skills and get perfect, it was always a very nonchalant, no questions. That, yep, I can do that. Yep, I can do that. Me, when I was offered the opportunity to run a car dealership that somebody else had created and then was failing, and they asked me to come in and do it, there was no, oh, I don't know, man. I don't know if that's, it was like, yeah, give me the keys. Like, give me the checkbook, give me the keys, give me the dealer plate. I got this. Yeah. And he was kind of like, all right, well, I had confidence in you, but I'm a little concerned with the amount of you like, this is a hard thing to do. No, it's not. Give me the keys. Yeah. And became incredibly successful doing it. Got robbed for 40 grand, had to start from square one again. But, you know, now here I am with, once I got my own opportunity investment, I, you know, working on opening the 4th car dealership now. So
fucking A, man.
That's a trait that people like us, and when I say people like us, I mean people that have graduated to relatively high levels of success. You're, you know, doing a big thing with an international rock band. I own a few car dealerships. I'm doing this show. You know, we don't need to do any self-ego stroking. The statistics speak for themselves. All I'm saying is, and I'm trying to gear this towards my audience is, guys, let me ask you this question, Marcus. Sure. Do you believe that genetically, intrinsically, that there's something about you that's vastly different than all other people, and that very few people can accomplish the incredible feats that Marcus Rafferty has?
No.
Okay. What is it about you that got you to where you are?
Fucking no fear. Just go out and do it. When I went out touring in the early days for no money, not knowing if I'm going to be able to eat, or if my cell phone that my parents got me is going to be able to, you know, it didn't matter. It was like I had a goal. I wanted to go out and do it, and I'll fucking figure it out.
And what was it about you that attracted the people that were doing the big things, that attracted them to you?
Probably the personality. It was more my work ethic is something to be that I pride myself on, because when it comes down to it, I will work as not even as hard as the next guy or harder. I'm going to work to my ability, which is a whole different fucking level. Okay. And there's nothing that's going to get in my way about anything.
That's incredible, man. You're resonating, you're reverberating. I wish my vocabulary was better, because I come up with a third one. Things should always come in threes.
Are you going to let a crackhead out hustle you today? There's going to be a crackhead that's going to find a way to get that money for crack today.
That's very true.
And then you're going to let him go out there and fucking outwork you? No fucking way.
Never going to happen.
No goddamn way in hell.
So I tell my audience, and I tell people that I train, and I tell essentially anybody that comes across my path that I see potential in, I explain to them that the traits of people who achieve greatness, okay, are the following. One is eliminating fear. Don't be risk averse. Don't be fearful. Don't question the marketplace. Don't question your place in it. Don't think that you have this lane that you have to travel in, and if you step outside of it, it's dangerous. It's all fair game. Right? It's the playing field is there for everybody. It's not like there's this one spot that you belong in. It's there, and you can occupy whatever the fuck you choose to occupy. Now, you might go to one area and there's stiffer competition and you got to work harder. Absolutely. Or you might go to another area and the type of people there make you uncomfortable, so you want to leave, but you can be anywhere. You can occupy any of that space, and you can become successful in it if you so choose. So that trait number one is no fear. Just still getting over pneumonia. Sorry.
It's all good, buddy.
That trait number one is I'm just not, I don't have the reservation of fear. I don't believe that I'm not going to go out. I don't believe I'm going to go out there and fall flat on my face, even though I may. Well, that's misworded. I'm not worried about going out there and falling flat on my face. I very well may. I may learn a hard lesson, but I'm not going to not try. I'm not going to let my life pass me by and say, okay, well, that was just a little too scary. That was just a little too edgy. That was just a little outside my comfort zone. It's like, no, fuck that. I want to do this. That looks like it's part of what I got to do. I'm just going to go. I'm just gonna flip the switch and go. That's trait number one. Trait number two is, you just said it, work ethic, right? You have to. And the most important thing about what you said was the fact that this guy's work ethic, that guy's level of hard and then overdrive, they pertain in no way to me.
Yep.
My potential is where I need to be. I need to reach my potential, and not setting a limit on that potential and saying, okay, I don't believe I've gotten to my potential yet, so I just need to keep pushing. I just need to keep pushing.
That's why I keep finding myself overtired at the end of the fucking week.
100%, bro. Yeah. But you're always accomplishing.
Absolutely.
You're always getting better. You're not sitting here telling me that you played for Mudvayne and then you fucked up and had to start selling cars, and then now you're living in a fucking roach motel, you know, scratching and clawing paycheck to paycheck. No. You've told me there's a progression, and everything in your story, other than the dips that happen in life,
that happens to everybody.
You stayed the course, and it's been an upward trajectory the whole time. So it has to do with no fear. And I mean, you know what? That's not even true. Not no fear, not succumbing to the fear.
It's about owning the fear.
Owning the fear, right? And not allowing it to control you.
Exactly.
Putting it in your pocket, saying, okay, friend, I know you're there, and you're going to keep me safe because you're going to remind me every once in a while what the danger zone is.
Once you start making the fear work for you, it's a whole different level.
Bam, beautiful. Fucking it. That's a goddamn YouTube clip right there, Ruben. All right, so there's the not allowing yourself to succumb to fear. There's the work ethic that desires to reach your own potential and not worry about what the fuck anybody else is doing. I've got a third one. Any idea what it is?
I would love to hear it.
I want to see. So let me. You know what? I'll phrase it as a question. I'll see if you go there. Okay. So you've got the. I asked you what it was about you that drew people to you, okay? Or excuse me, no, what was it about you that got you out there and got you doing what you do? And you said you weren't scared of it, you just went after it. I asked you what drew people to you, and you said that it was your work ethic, okay?
And personality, yeah.
100%. Now, you've run into some adversity, okay? There's got to be some situations where, like, okay, let's bring it full circle. So now to the car business, okay? There's an ability and a skill that I believe that you've honed over the years, and it's had to do with dealing with people. It's had to do with having to talk your way out of situations, talk your way into situations, talk your way into a tour bus, talk yourself out of getting caught through security with something that you shouldn't have, whatever the case may be. And you now apply this skill, and it's what allows you to make 6 figures a year selling cars your first year with no problem whatsoever. You possess a skill set, okay, that you've honed that allows you to create revenue, and it allows you to get through the barriers of life. Okay?
Being able to talk is a big thing.
Power of persuasion, Marcus.
Yep.
Okay, the power of persuasion, the ability to sell. All right. Warren Buffett said to a group of understudies that were apprenticing or whatever the case may be, look the quote up, I could get it wrong, but at the end of their apprenticeship or whatever, they were given access to Warren for a Q&A, and they said, okay, we got a question for you. It's kind of like the last question. It's the big one. What is one tip that you would give us? The one tip that's going to make us all millionaires. And they're looking for, short this stock on this day, or wait until such and such splits and spend your 401k on it, or, wait for the IPO of this company. And they're on the edge of their seats, and he goes, learn how to sell. One talent you must possess to be very highly successful. If I didn't... If Charlie and I didn't have the ability to persuade, to be the most talented money managers the world's never heard of.
Yep.
How was my Warren Buffett?
That was pretty good. Actually.
I can't do Charlie. I can do Warren. Ruben's laughing. That's a good sign. So
I caught Ruben laughing a couple of times.
That means we're doing a good show.
See, right?
He's my barometer over there. It's like I can see the mercury in the thermometer.
Yes. If it was fucking boring, nobody would watch it.
100%. The power to persuade. Marcus, there is no skill. There is no force. There's nothing in this world, brother, that I believe is more powerful than the ability to persuade. I have, as an addict, I've talked drug dealers that I owed money to, whose cars I had damaged. Okay.
Whoops.
I've gone to them while being in debt to them and not being able to come up with any money until my next paycheck, talked them into fronting me more drugs, then giving me money for gas so I could, for instance, okay, give me the drugs because, without the drugs I can't operate. You got to give me some money so I can fill my gas tank. Without the gas, I can't get to work to get your money that I owe you. So give me some more drugs, give me some money, and then I can get to Friday where I can get you back the money that I owe you and continue this recurrent. Have I ever let you down? No? Well, there was that one time, but we're going to forget about that. But no, right?
That one, yeah.
Right. And then next thing you know, a drug dealer's handing me cash. They're handing me more drugs, and they're letting me borrow their car, and I'm walking away going, you dumb son of a bitch. But that's the negative of that ability, and that's where it pertained to the dark point of my life. I've also been able to talk a man who's worth $92 million into selling me a house and holding the mortgage without ever pulling my credit, without ever looking at a bank statement, without ever looking at my financials, with not even so much as Googling me. Well, he may have Googled me, but if he Googled me, I would imagine he probably had some questions for me.
I mean, I found out shit about myself I didn't even know on Google.
Do you have a Wikipedia?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, I'm on the Mudvayne one.
God damn it, man. What, Ruben, what do I got to do to get a Wikipedia? We got to figure that out. Jesus
Actually,
Christ.
it's funny. So if you Google my name, I did this just out of curiosity. Somebody, actually, my buddy Just Joe had told me to do this. He's like, dude, Google your name. And I was like, all right. So I did. And then when you Google my name, it says Marcus Rafferty, musical artist.
Jesus Christ.
I'm like, shut the fuck up, for real. And yeah, it's
mine says, I think for mugshot, click here. Pretty sure that's
so
what mine
I got
says.
arrested in the airport in Chicago one time. I've never actually been to jail, which is, I'm going to knock on wood here.
We can change that real quick, Marcus.
Yes.
One night out with me, buddy.
Hey, man.
You'll have a DIN number.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, I can't really afford a divorce, though, right now. So I'm going to have to talk about that. I'm going to need to borrow a couple bucks.
Oh, dude. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Ruben and Marcus. It's changed. I'm coming up in the world. You Google me, and there's my mugshot. That hasn't changed. There's also the still of me robbing the bank. That hasn't changed.
Oh, fuck yeah.
But there's the picture of me from the front of the podcast website. There's the Instagram. It says Man of the Free. There's the Facebook. Subscribe to the podcast. CNY Drives. Yeah. And then my cousin's fucking brewing company. What the fuck?
Great.
Shout out Kristen. Hey, that's some good beer.
What's the brewing company?
Lunkenheimer Brewing Company.
Okay. Can they do a root beer?
I don't know. Maybe they already have.
My cousin Dave Breest, he's fucking actually lives up there in Central Square now, but
okay.
He's a jiu-jitsu dude. He got his black belt, took him fucking, I don't know how many, like a decade or better.
That means it's a real black belt.
Yeah.
The ones that are like, I went to Badaguchi's karate studio and paid $30,000 and my kid was a black belt in 6 months.
Dave's ears are all cauliflower. Like he would go to New York City to fight like the best of the best just to get his ass kicked. I'm like, I don't understand it, but fucking proud of you, man.
Anybody who looks like they've got a set of wax lips attached to the side of their head, that's someone you don't want to fight.
100%. That's Dave. But Dave makes beer as a hobby.
Okay.
And I guess it's really good. Now, I haven't drank in 4 years. I gave up drinking when I was eating fucking fistfuls of Oxycontin or oxycodone on tour and drinking fucking a bottle
What's
of
the most oxy you've ever intaken at one time? Like a one dose?
I mean, I probably 90 milligrams because I knew as much as I was drinking that if I overdid it, I was going to die. I think I did die one night a little bit. I woke up and I had pissed myself in the bunk and I'm like, I fell out of the bunk and I just didn't feel. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I just died for a minute there.
It's generally a sign of a good night.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I got you beat by a lot.
I'm sure.
300.
Yeah.
I ingested 10 Roxycodone 30s one time.
Oh, at once, yeah.
At once with 2 Adderall 30 instant releases.
Yeah.
Now, I'd like to make a footnote here. I am in no way condoning the use of drugs.
Yeah.
That is a lethal dose of amphetamines
100%.
and opiates. I'm a large man. At the time in my life, the tolerance that I had to opiates was to a point that no one should ever get to.
You had to do that just to get off. I get it.
To get off E.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I got high. Let's not kid anybody.
100%. Yeah.
The bottom line is here, it's a time in my life, guys, that I'm ashamed of. But it had to. No, I'm ashamed of the behavior at that time. However, I'm not resentful.
Right.
That had to happen to get me here. Exactly.
You got. That's where you turn all that shit into power.
100%.
Like I manage a couple bars, and I'm there. I sit at the bar and I watch people drink all night long.
Yeah.
At first, it was difficult, and then like just one day, I was just like, it doesn't even fucking bother me anymore. I'll bring my wife home a couple of beers.
What changed? Again, someone out there is going, how the fuck did you do that, Marcus? I'm a recovered alcoholic. I see a beer, I get a hard on.
Yep.
How the hell did you get from A to B?
I'm a people watcher. I love watching people, and I watch people and their actions. And for me, when I was sitting there at the bar and I was watching people shit fucking tank doing stupid shit that I know I've done and probably worse, and I'm just like, I don't want to be that guy anymore. That's not me. That's a dude that I was in the past. Like, I fucking I don't need to go and fucking drink 30 beers and then drive to the fucking west side to meet a dude to pick up a gram of blow that I got to fucking front until next week.
Right.
You know,
only to finish it and go.
Finish and go, hey,
I know it's late. I know it's 4 in the morning.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But you start watching people like, man, like that was fucking me. Like I know it was me. I've seen videos of that. There's pictures of me fucking passed out, half naked. It's like, I like to be able to have a hold of everything in my brain now. Yeah. And be in control of it. Now, again, I smoke a lot of fucking weed.
Do you think that has to do with you being a dad now?
I mean, I think that has a lot to do with it. When when you have a kid, everything kind of changes. Everything does, and it's not changing for the worse. It's not like, oh fuck, I had a kid, I got to do this. All of a sudden, one day, it's like, I caught myself doing this because I was out and I was like, you know what, I want to get this for my kid. Like all of a sudden, I wasn't thinking about me anymore. Mm-hmm. I wasn't like, man, like fuck yeah, I really need to go get myself a pair of shoes. Like, my kid was looking at this toy and like, I think he would really like it. I'm gonna work to get him that. Yeah. You know, so you start prioritizing different things, and all of a sudden you don't become a dad overnight. Like you can fucking throw your dick in anything that walks and have a kid, but you don't become a dad overnight. It takes a while, and when it first clicks, and you like the first time you don't think about yourself and you're thinking about that little boy or that little girl, it's a whole different world, and you're like, I get it.
I think it's the difference between impregnating a woman, her birthing a child, and you becoming a parent.
Yep.
And deciding to be a father.
Exactly.
I think those are two very different things. I think I have experience in my life right now dealing with people who have the role of parent on their resume, but choose not to be a father. I myself, I couldn't wait to be a father. When my wife got pregnant, I'm gonna get emotional, Ruben.
It's all right, Luke.
When my wife got pregnant with my son Maximus, and this is taking nothing away from my stepson Michael, obviously, okay. But when my son Maximus, when he was conceived, it was a great night, some good sex.
Fucking hey, proud of you.
But when I found out that my wife was pregnant and the pregnancy was taking, and we were weeks and then months in, and I was watching her belly grow, and I knew there was life in there, and also for the first time in my life, I was confident it was mine. You know,
that was fucking. That's a big thing.
That's a big thing, man.
I mean, I remember the whole minute 37 of conceiving my second one.
Yeah,
yeah, that was a great time.
You're a fucking stallion, man.
Dude. I'm telling you, that was including cuddling time.
Jesus Christ,
I know, right?
I got to work on my game a little bit. Watching her stomach grow, knowing that it wasn't because of good pasta and carbohydrates. Yeah. There was a child growing in there. Okay. And my wife was a beautiful pregnant woman. You know, there's some women that are pregnant, and it's beautiful because they're pregnant.
My wife was too. Like,
you're like you come home and you're like, hey,
yeah,
hey,
yeah. Oh, it's nice and warm down there right
hottest
now.
Fat chick I ever seen, man.
Go.
But you know, she was just beautiful in her pregnancy. She was comfortable. I made sure she was comfortable. I made sure she had what she needed.
Take him to the fair, let him go wild.
Just what?
The food.
The food.
Yeah, the fucking food. Yeah. Just let him. Here, baby. Here's $200.
You send her over to the scale guy to guess her weight. Why is she going to the fair?
No, that was one of the things when the girls were pregnant around the fair time. Like, just go eat everything without giving a fuck.
To the International Food Pavilion. Just feed my child, grow my seed.
Yes.
Okay. It's not like go over to Bozo the Clown's dunk tank and throw your arm out.
I want the big prize, baby. Come on.
How do I get Sonic? I got the little balloon whistle. I want Sonic.
No bullshit. I spent $50 trying to win a fucking giant SpongeBob for my kid. A Minion.
Yeah, a Minion.
In fucking South Dakota. And playing a show with Marilyn Manson. And I fucking got it $50 later, and I carried that thing home on the fucking the bus all the way to Syracuse. Yeah.
That's dad.
And
that's
I had
the
a
dad
life-size
stuff.
Ted. Remember the movie Ted?
Oh, the stoner teddy bear?
Yeah.
Love that guy.
I brought him home on the plane with me, and he had his own seat.
Yeah?
Yeah. And this dude was trying to fuck with me about it, and I was like, every time he would talk shit, he's like, hey, man, what are you doing with that bear? And I would just be like, I love you.
Marcus, we have a lot in common.
Dude,
I've discovered throughout this
Sorry
show.
that I interrupted you with Nikki's pregnant belly. Go ahead.
It's okay. Man, when my son was on the way, you're talking about a guy that had just fucked up life so bad and never wanted a child. Was always that guy that was, I'm just going to be successful and make money and bang chicks and be a bachelor and drink beer and see the world. I don't want fucking kids. They're going to fuck that all up. And then at some point, all hell broke loose. My life turned to absolute shit. And what it was really is when I got out of prison and life started kind of restoring itself, or I started restoring life rather, and I started having some semblance of what I believed to be a quality life.
Yep.
I started thinking about the fact that I believed that, and I was very wrong, but I believed at that time that the best years of my life were behind me. And I'm like, okay, 18 to 30 is like, that's the hay time, right? That's when you fuck bitches, get money, have fun, wear cool clothes, travel cool places. That's, you know, when you become a rock star, when you become a rapper, like all the cool shit you want to do and establish yourself and your foothold on the earth and who you are happens between 18 to 30. I later found out that that's not at all the case.
Dude,
those are the one in a million scenarios.
I was 30 years old, man. I mean, I thought, like, same thing. My 20s were fucking epic. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I toured most of the world in my 20s, and you know, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah,
a lot of places and a lot of different zip codes, area codes, continents, and
we might have to do a follow-up podcast.
I think we're gonna have to.
To do the life and times of Marcus, dude, the travels of Marcus.
It's been. I filled up 3 passports with extra pages, and
that's awesome.
Yeah, no, it was one of those things. Like I was like, God damn, man, I never left New York State until I was fucking 20 years old.
And then you saw more of the world from 20 to 30 than anybody sees their whole life.
Most people have ever will see. And fuck it. It's just nuts. There's a lot of just crazy things. And it's always like fucking stupid shit happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
So they say the best cut of meat that you'll ever get in your life is in Buenos Aires in Argentina.
Okay.
Had the worst fucking steak I ever had.
No shit.
Yeah. I actually had a better steak in Brazil. They took us to a steakhouse, Brazilian steakhouse. In Brazil.
Yeah, real one.
I fucking bought fake blow in Colombia. Yeah, of all fucking
the one place you feel like you'd get the killer blow.
Yeah, man. I was like, God damn it.
Was it like from some kid there? I was like, Mista.
No,
I
it was
got
from
fire.
the fucking promoter. And so we got in the van. And
the fucking concert promoter?
Yeah.
What a dick.
So what had happened with? So it was a she. She hands us all.
Dude, you can never buy drugs from a woman.
She hands us all a bag with tea leaves in it, and
okay.
I'm like, oh. And I was looking. I'm like, oh, I know what these are. So it was the cocaine tea.
Coca.
Yeah, coca tea.
Yep.
So our singer Randy was for this. I was out with Lamb again. Singer Randy was he was sober, and I was like, I'll just go ahead and take that for you.
Yeah, you don't want those.
So I'm like, hey, like, you know, we're in Colombia, like, you know, I guess she's like, oh yeah. So I'm like, I got $100 American. Yeah. And I was thinking I was gonna get a lot.
Right.
She gave me like 2 G's, and I'm like, all right. So I'm like, all right.
She also knew that you had American money, so you were used to American prices.
Yeah. So it shows up, and me and a buddy of mine, we're like, we split it up, and fucking, I'm like, all right, yeah, I can't, like
Colombian dope.
I was like, I'm here.
This
is what it's supposed to be. So I fucking hit one up, and I fucking hit it. I'm like, wait a minute, like this? No.
You didn't. You bitch.
I'm like, what the fuck? So my buddy calls me. He's like, hey, this shit seems pretty clear. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know. So the fucking next morning, 6 a.m. now, I'm at the venue, and fucking. The promoter comes like, oh, so how was that? I'm like, why don't you go ahead and sit down? Because I want to talk to you right now. I'm like, first of all, go make me a cup of that fucking tea real quick. I was madder than a guy with no thumbs trying to jerk off, man. I'm telling you, I was fucking pissed off and mad about it. But you know what? You live and learn. Think about it.
Yeah. Wow,
right.
Jesus Christ, that would be difficult.
See?
I'm now going to try it.
You're going to have to.
All right.
I'll FaceTime you.
So the coca tea was good?
The coca tea was yeah, no, the tea was
you
good.
Fucker, you slippery son of a bitch. You got that one by me. I have Google Meet.
Yeah, right. No, the tea was good. I was gonna bring some home, and I was like, probably not a good idea flying out of Bogota.
Stamp my passport, smell my tea.
Yeah, right.
Those fucking German shepherds are real pesky bastards at the airport.
Sons of bitches.
Was it good though? The coca tea?
No, the tea was fine. Yeah.
I mean, did it give you any kind of buzz?
No. Basically, what it did is like the elevation up there. It makes it harder to breathe and makes anxiety set in a little bit.
Bronchodilator.
It's kind of like being in like fucking. Not Denver.
Naked with a fat chick, but sober. Oh.
New Mexico and like Grants? Yeah, Grants.
Okay.
The elevation is so high, so like sometimes it gets hard to breathe and like you almost get a little panic attack. So the tea, the the little bit of what they would make cocaine out of.
Yep.
It just kind of like perks you up just a little bit. You don't get high off it by any means, but it makes it so it's more tolerable to,
I got you.
Yeah.
So you were in the corner chewing the leaves.
Fucking yeah.
Obviously. Actually, once we found out the
really
blow was bad, we snorted the leaves.
Do we really have to ask that question? We all see what's going on here.
What the hell's the movie where they fucking chew the... I can't remember now. I don't remember.
There was actually an episode of Survivor Man, I believe it was, with Les Stroud, if you ever watched that.
No shit? Okay.
And he was over in the Papua New Guinea, and they have what they call beetle bum, I believe it is, or something along those lines, which is the same concept, but it's a leaf and
Papua
a berry.
New Guinea, that sounds like an Italian rapper.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's an island off the coast of fucking... Anyway.
Isn't that Papua New Guinea? Or is it Papua?
Let's go with whatever it is.
Papua New Guinea. I picture an Italian guy with a gold chain.
Yeah.
Yo, what up, dog? This Papua New Guinea in the house.
Absolutely. He's got really good brandy, though. Really smooth dong, too. But so you chew on this fucking thing, and like it makes your face go numb, and like then you get like extremely euphoric, like you ate fucking like an ecstasy pill and fucking 3 oxys and
really
the line, like fucking yeah. I haven't tried it yet. Might have to take a flight, but
what's it called again?
Like beetle bum or something.
Beetle bum.
Something. It's worth a Google.
I got you.
Yeah, but like he was.
If I say it
you
3
could just
times,
see it
does
on
it
his
appear?
face, like he's chewing. He's like, oh god, it kind of tastes like shit. A couple minutes later, he's like, oh, face going numb, and then like it fast forwards like 15 minutes. He's like, holy fuck. I'm like, that dude's awesome right now.
That's my new favorite show.
Yeah, right.
You ever heard of ayahuasca?
No.
So Ruben, you heard of ayahuasca? So
fuck Ruben.
Ruben's nodding his head no, by the way. Ruben's so quiet. We got to get you a microphone.
I think he should have a fucking
I think we've just made
like the
decision.
Howard Stern show. Where
Yeah. Joe Rogan, and you could be my Jamie.
We're gonna work on that.
You could be my Jamie. I could be your long lost pal.
I will call you Lukey.
Oh my God! You know what's sad, Marcus?
Yeah.
Is there's a large portion of our audience that has no fucking clue that there was once a music video with Chevy Chase and a really cool song called "Call Me Al."
I mean, it was a great song.
It was a great song.
It was a great song.
And then didn't Chevy have like a tuba or a trumpet or something?
I believe it. Yeah.
It was at the porno that I saw directly after.
I mean, so I was watching the Big Lebowski one time.
Okay, was that a porno? Are we talking about the actual Big Lebowski? I just feel like there's an adult film somewhere called The Big Lebowski.
Well, that's what had happened is I thought it was The Big Lebowski because it said The Big Lebowski.
Okay.
This was in Europe on a bus.
I also figured
And I
there's
was going
probably a
through
sex toy called
the
The
hard
Big
drive,
Lebowski.
and I was like, fucking going through the movies. I'm like, oh yeah.
Are these all innuendos? The Big Lebowski, the hard drive. I just feel like we're going
So
a very
they're
sexual
like
place right now.
on the buses, like especially over in Europe, they'll have hard drives with a bunch of movies and shit on it, so that you can watch whatever. Because you can't bring DVDs over there. Or anything.
Okay.
It doesn't work like that.
I gotcha.
So I'm going through. I'm like, yeah, Top Gun. Like, oh, the Goonies. Maybe I'll watch that later on. And then I was like, The Big Lebowski. I put it on. I'm watching this thing, and all of a sudden, like, they're on the rug, and then this guy walks in with his big ass dong. I'm like, hang on a second. I don't think this is what the fuck I'm gonna. I locked the door.
Went back and looked at it again. It was actually
I ain't
called.
watching this shit, guys. Don't come here.
Yeah, you guys. I gotta fix this DVD player. This thing is fucked up.
I'll see you in 4 minutes.
You're talking about the tour bus?
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
Hard drive on the tour bus.
Yeah.
So no DVDs because same reason
American
you can't use the same
DVDs
plugs.
don't work over in Europe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those racist bastards.
Like you can buy DVDs over there. So I actually learned a lot of German buying Back to the Future over there. So I knew it all.
Great Skatunstein und Steiten sind fast 1.21 Gigawattsstein. Oh, good Lord. What the fuck were we talking about?
I have no fucking idea.
We're having fun.
What
That's all
the
that
hell
matters.
time is it
I don't know.
anyway?
It's like midnight.
It probably is. 7:35.
We'll go 2 more quick places, then we'll wrap this thing up
copy.
because we're having fun. But I don't know if the
we're gonna
audience
have to do a
is.
part 2.
I think so, man.
We'll let
is
the
fun.
audience decide. Like, if you guys want to hear us ramble more bullshit about nothing,
Can we do like a poll in the comments? We can.
100%.
See, it's like I always ask Ruben because he knows everything. Like if I want to know tonight's winning lottery numbers, Ruben probably has them or has the resource.
I got a lot of useless now. I found out that I'm really good at Celebrity Jeopardy, and it's really fun to say Celebrity Jeopardy.
Celebrity Jeopardy.
My
Now,
wife
are we
and I
talking
just-
about like the Saturday Night Live version of Celebrity Jeopardy?
No, like the one that's been playing as of recently.
Those are fucking class. You ever watch those?
Yes, I've watched them. Absolutely.
I'll take ape tit for 600, Trebek.
Suck it, Trebek.
Suck it, your mother. That's a petite déjeuner. No, I want ape tit. Or what's the other one? What's the other one? Famous one? He says it's Sean Connery, right?
Yeah.
Will Ferrell does Alex Trebek, and then somebody does Sean Connery. Daryl Hammond, is that his name? No, not Daryl Hammond.
I'm not very good with movie stars.
I don't fucking know. But all I know is that's funny shit. And any of you young sons of bitches that haven't seen classic Celebrity Jeopardy Saturday Night Live, you got to check it out. But anyways, useless knowledge. You're good at Celebrity Jeopardy. Go.
Yeah.
You were saying that.
Yeah, that's all.
Did you forget why?
Yeah, no.
Do you have other good useless knowledge?
Yeah, probably. I just can't think of it.
What the fuck, Marcus?
I know.
Jesus Christ.
It's my
falling
fault.
flat on your face.
Sorry. Yeah, no, it sucks.
Do we have the sound effect? Mwah, mwah,
yes.
Emer. All right, so I'm going to get back to my questions.
Yes.
All right, so I think we're through all of them. I don't want to go to my phone because that would just be too time consuming. But I have one in my head that this is something that I really.
All right, let's do one more question and then we'll get a part 2 going. How about that?
Works for me.
Perfect.
This is, I think, something that a lot of people want to know. The whole rock star, sex, drugs, rock and roll, groupies. Now, with respect to your wife, obviously we know that there's been no infidelity. We've actually already discussed that. And I must say, he wasn't even like, there was this one time, it was like, no fucking way, I got a great girl, I'm in it for the music. And I was very proud of Marcus for that. But I want to know about the opportunities. Right? There's people in our audience that are sitting here going, well, this guy's a famous guitar player. He's with a big-ass rock band.
Do you want me to be 100% honest?
I don't know, because I feel like you're going to let me down.
I'm going to let you down.
Fuck!
So here's the deal.
So there's not like 16 blondes with their pussies hanging out, lined up.
Back in the early 2000s, yes, it was still relevant. And yes, there was slobs everywhere. And you
don't tell me COVID fucked it up.
No. Okay. No, it was way before COVID.
Okay.
Way before. It used to be like, oh, I want to meet the band. Like, I can show you how. Anywho, fucking so. But Jesus Christ, it was like 2006 or 7 or something. It was pretty early.
Okay.
That like all of a sudden. Everybody's like, oh, rock and roll's dead. Like, no, rock and roll's not dead, but the backstage is fucking done. Cell phones came out and dudes could play games on their phones, and MySpace came out, and all of a sudden, MySpace comes out, and the 14 girlfriends you have found out about each other, and that's fucking done.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? So the backstage turned into the fucking, yeah, dude, there ain't a dude getting jerked off in 5 miles of this whole fucking arena, dude. I swear to God.
Bullshit. You're telling me that there's no horny, nasty, dirty sluts that just want to knob off some guy to say they could?
No. I mean, as sad as it sounds, that shit just doesn't happen. Especially now, like everybody that was in the rock scene that might have done that before, like they're married and like I got a wife. Everybody in my fucking band's got wives and shit.
Right.
Like the only women that are backstage are like our production people, and that's it. Like,
so social media and the devices being on hand all the time, I feel like it's made everything so accessible. Because, like, consider the days of Motley Crue, early days of Metallica, Van Halen, that type of shit. These guys, all you had was television and radio, right? And you didn't have access to them. It wasn't like you could go to 38 different podcasts and see 38 different interviews. And then you could go to their interviews on demand. You could buy their albums that have the interview. Like, there wasn't just this wealth of content, right?
Yep.
You had the one interview that they did with Barbara Walters. You had then the other interview that they did with Kurt Loder from MTV, right? And that's all you had to know these people by, and they were like gods, right? So I feel like, to your point, like these girls or guys, whatever the case may be, get to the show and they see this person as this glowing, legendary, deity-like figure, and they're willing to just do whatever's necessary to get in their good graces and to try to say that they did access this person.
Right.
Whereas now it's like
dude, I get hit up by fans all the time. Like they're just you can pretty much meet any celebrity you want to.
Yeah.
Just by sending them a message online
on social media.
So like I get messages from people all the time. Like, hey, like that. I got a buddy. Actually, he's turned into a buddy of mine. He's making me some faceplate covers for my guitar.
Okay.
Like that he does with this ceramic shit. He looks really really cool. His name's Rob. But like we were fucking. we actually just kind of hit it off a little bit. Like, yeah, dude, fucking rad, cool, right on. But he's like a cool, down to earth guy.
Okay.
That built himself up from nothing. So, but he was like, dude, he sent me a message. He's like, just being able to talk to you as like a normal person is enough for anything. I'm like, I am just a normal person, but I get it. I get the perception. But I mean, anybody can reach out to you at any time they want to and be like, holy fuck, Luke, like, I can't believe like I'm talking to you right now or whatever else. And you're like, yeah, I mean, fucking right on, man. How can I help you? Sort of
I get that. Not to the extent that I'm sure you do, being in the line of work that you're in, and it's the superstardom. But like I get, for instance, Scott, Ruben's boss, one of our producers, I was at an SU game with him. We were in a box. He invited me. It was a very nice experience. There was another guy there who was a business owner, a gym owner. We're all hanging out watching the game. And I get this. Did Scott tell you about this? Or maybe I did. I get a DM. It's like, well, this person commented on one of my Facebook ads, and it was like, with all that money that Big Luke makes, he should get his teeth fixed.
Wow.
So I responded to the comment, and I was like, well, it's not my teeth. It's my lips. Right. Sustained an injury as a kid. There's some extra fucking lip back there. Could have had it removed at a young age. Once I became able to date, I realized why I didn't want to have that done.
I've got little fucking elf ears.
Do you really?
Yes.
That's very cute, actually. See, that's a desirable trait.
And I love Christmas, so it works out.
Smiling is my favorite. So
Santa!
I know him.
Sorry, yes, you were going on about
just these giant flapping lips that I have up top. Once I became the dating age and learned about cunnilingus, I realized that I was actually much more talented than the average bear. Just kidding, my poor wife, or maybe not my poor wife, huh?
I mean, Jesus Christ, proud of you.
I said proud of you. So what had happened was that the guy says this. I respond with, it's actually my lips that I sustained an injury as a kid, but whatever. Have your fun and your laughs. And I said something like, I would actually, judging by your profile picture, I'd rather have my lips than your face. So I guess I'm doing okay. And just kind of left it at that. And I shouldn't have, and it was unprofessional.
Yeah,
but I'm not always my professional.
Dude, you don't always have to be fucking professional.
I feel like when shots are fired, you can kind of like ping, deflect back a
even though
little bit.
we're well-known people and respectively, you don't always have to fucking cater to everybody.
That's
and
true.
I've learned that. That was a hard lesson to fucking learn because I'm a people pleaser.
Right.
But sometimes you have to be like, you know what? Fucking no.
Fuck you. Yeah.
No.
You got everybody's looking for that moment where they go, yep, see, he's fucked up. He's an asshole. And you're like, no, you've planted yourself in my asshole for the past 3 weeks and I'd like to remove you. And when I tried to remove you, you said that I was an asshole, So this guy makes this comment. I respond and, give him a quick fire back and everybody kind of laughs. People jump on like, haha, dumbass, shouldn't be a dickhead or whatever. And I get a DM right in the middle of the football game. You got all that money. You should really do good work and help real people like me.
You want $10, dude?
Oh, I had fun with this.
Oh, I'm sure you did.
I said, and I said, during the Facebook banter back and forth, I went on his profile page. And he'll remain unnamed, okay? As bad as I want to blow the fuck out of his spot right now, I won't, because I'm a good guy. And he had, on the birthdays, people do the fundraisers. For my birthday, I'd like to raise money for da-da-da. Well, his Facebook consisted of, like, a couple memes, one picture of his fat ass, and then, like, a birthday post raising money for St. Jude's. $0 of 200 raised, and it was from like a year ago.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, this guy's real popular, right? People are just beating down his door to meet him.
Did you donate the $200?
All of it.
I fucking love you.
So I commented back and I said, and by the way, judging by your profile page, it doesn't look like people really revere your opinion very highly. So I'm not really going to take your words to heart. But what I did do, because I am a nice guy, is I donated all $200 that you were trying to raise for St. Jude's in your name, on your behalf, to St. Jude's, because his link had expired. So I sent to St. Jude's, sent them money. I said, this is from
yeah.
And this is on his behalf. So during the DM session where he's sending me the message, you should help a real person like me. I said, well, you didn't see that I donated $200 to St. Jude's on your behalf? Yeah, I did, or whatever, and that's cool or whatever, but you got all that money. You should really help real people that need help. So I said,
St. fucking Jude's.
Well, here's what I did.
Oh,
I said, so how about this?
These are the things that get me going too.
Oh, but you're gonna love how I serve.
Lay
this
it
fool,
on me,
okay?
man, like a hot load on the chest.
You're gonna love it. Okay, do you shave your chest?
Fuck no.
So you'll have remnants of me tomorrow
Absolutely,
morning.
I like to rub it in.
I love it.
It's not weird.
It's not weird at all.
Ruben's fucking like, fuck you guys.
Ruben's like,
man.
get me the fuck out of here. There's claw marks on the door. If he's poor guy, he's gonna go home and have to take a bath.
It's fine. Listen, I'll help you.
So I send back. I said, how about I do this, buddy? I'll take the $200 that I donated to St. Jude's. I'll put a stop payment on it. I'll redirect those funds to your Venmo. Would that make me a good guy? He sends back, really? You do that? You really are a good guy. Bing, sends me his Venmo handle. I'm not making this up, man. We can cross out the words and post this shit.
God.
So I stopped and I said, okay, so I just want to make sure I understand you correctly. I've donated $200 to sick, cancer-ridden, poor, defenseless children on your behalf.
Right.
You're in a tough spot and you want me to take the money from the kids and give it to you. So explain to me why you're in financial.
Fucking what the fuck?
So I said, why are you in financial trouble? You know what he says to me? I said, what do you need that I could possibly help you with? Because it says that you're and I won't say it, but it was a very high paying position for a power company. I said, you're this for these guys. Surely you can't need money. He says, would you believe it? I really overspent bad this week.
This week?
I can't make this up, man. I can't. This is real people. So I said, okay, so you make plenty of money, probably 6 figures. You overspent this week. So I should take money from St. Jude's, give it to you, my hard-earned money that I earned from being gainfully employed and just worked hard to create. It's not like I was a trust fund kid. Should redirect this money to you from the sick kids because you overspent your paycheck this week. He says, yeah, otherwise how are my kids going to eat?
Oh my God.
So I said, so your kids can't eat because you spent too much money. I said, okay. And let's say the guy's name was Bill. I said, okay, Bill, tell you what. Is it drugs or gambling? You be honest with me and tell me which one it is, and I'll get you help that you need. WTF? LOL. F you, dude. I don't have any problems with drugs or gambling. Who the hell are you to accuse me of that? I said, because, Bill, the only reason that you'd make $100,000 a year and not have any money to feed your kids this week is because you're a drug or a gambling addict. I'm giving you an easy out here.
It's an easy,
Take it. Tell me which one that you are, and I will help you. He sends back, and here's what I said. I said, tell me which one it is, okay, and I'll help you. He sends back, it's neither. I said, okay, fine. I can't justify just giving money to somebody who overspends, but I'm always willing to help my fellow man. I'll give you 500, ... And then he starts typing. Before he can answer back, I say, but you got to earn it. What do you have skills in? Deletes what he's typing. Skills, what do you mean? I'm not good at anything, just my job. I said, obviously, which is why you make $100,000 a year. Right. But apparently you lack in the ability to manage money department. I said, so how about this? I've got some menial labor, car washing, window washing, raking leaves that I can have you do at my shop. I'll put you to work at $50 an hour for 10 hours, and I'll get you $500 so you can feed your kids. Know what he says? That's super generous of you, but I don't need 500. Just the 200 that you were going to give me is okay. Can't make this shit up. So I just very politely said, Bill, here's the thing. You don't just get money for free. You got to earn it. I've offered you the ability to earn the money that you need. You've now told me that you don't want to lift a finger or do anything. You just want the free money that I was going to give you that we were going to take from the sick children. All I want you to do is wait a day and reread this text message thread, but I want you to do it with the 2 people that are closest to you that are over the age of 50. And I would like you to ask them what they think of what this conversation was and how it transpired.
You know, chances are they're probably the same type of people that he is.
All he said was, I haven't seen anything come through my Venmo yet. Are you gonna be a man of your word and give me what you said you're gonna give me or not? I said, buddy, you've completely missed the point. I wish you nothing but the best. I hope that your situation improves. In the meantime, if your kids need food, bring them to any of my stores, and I will have one of my employees bring them over and get them 2 hot meals.
Absolutely.
Thank you and have a nice day. And then I blocked him. Never brought his kids for the hot meals, and that wasn't a spoiler alert. Y'all knew that. But, bro, this is the type of shit that's out there, and these are the type of people that sit and stew behind their keyboards,
100%.
and they like, you fucking scumbag, you got all this money. Motherfucker, I worked for every penny of it. I've worked my balls off. I've come from absolutely nothing, and I digress. But it's just unfucking real. To your point, anybody can access us, right? And it's kind of scary. It's kind of cool. But back to the whole dreams of grandiose blowjobs from groupie girls in the rock and roll arena.
Yeah, that shit's all done.
Well, it's like, fuck. I mean, they can DM you now. They can look you up and they can see, you know, all the pictures, and they can also see your sweaty fucking acne covered, not your, but I just mean a guy on tour all covered in zits and fucking, you know, half spilled off tour makeup and stinky fucking armpits, and you know, just what's really on stage, because I got that close to Zach Wilde and got to smell him.
Listen, that's a whole different situation. Well, we can have a whole conversation about that.
About the no showers and what really goes.
Like, no, it's not a lie. It's not. Like, same sweatpants for like 3.5 weeks. Like,
yeah, can you imagine what those poor groupie girls from the 80s ran into?
Dude,
Let me get those leather pants off you, Vince Neil.
God,
oh, God. Couldn't be pretty. Bring like an ice scraper and just get to the layers. Yeah, it's bad. And nobody shaved or manscaped back then.
Dude,
so,
no.
Jesus Christ. It was like finding Jimi Hendrix in a wheel of cheese, I'm sure.
Fucking imagine.
Wonder how many people we've just completely discussed.
Probably all of them. And on that note.
Yep. So, Marcus, here's the thing, man. I really appreciate you coming in here today.
Dude, thank you for having me. This is actually a
Did you have a good time?
I'm still having a great time.
Awesome.
Fucking Ruben's having a great time.
Ruben's over there scared. He's tattooed his soul with hellfire and brimstone.
How you doing over there?
So for the audience, okay, guys, we brought Marcus in here today. He brought a lot of value. Just an incredible guy. I encourage you to check out his band, Mudvayne.
Fall of Humanity.
Fall of Humanity. Let me rephrase myself. The band he is a member of, Mudvayne. Yes. His band and his brother's band, Fall of Humanity. Yes. Is that you and your bros thing?
Yes.
Okay. And we'll link Ruben. We'll link up with whatever we got social media wise in there.
Yeah, Ruben, throw Seasons on, buddy.
Just
let the people hear it.
Tremendous human being. And guys, just continues to follow the theme. Don't be scared. Don't be risk averse. Stop worrying about what the fuck everybody else thinks. Stop worrying about if you're going to not make it and you're going to fail. Stop worrying about anything that can be when it hasn't presented itself. Start thinking about what can be when you decide to get off your ass and work to achieve it. Start thinking about if you remove all the barriers that life has presented for you by way of other people's influence. Don't do this. Don't try that. Be scared of this. Only crazy people do that. Just open your thinking. Open your thinking, realize your potential, make your goals in life being the best version of you and achieving the highest level of you that you possibly can, and stop using other people as a barometer for your own success, okay? I'm Big Luke. This is the man of the free. That's Marcus Rafferty. This was a great fucking show.
Hey, wait, I got a good sign off for us. So we got to do the jumping high five.
Okay. Will our camera pick that up?
Yeah, it's going to have to.
Okay. Can we how do we do this?
Well, I mean, you can just stand it. I'll jump.
Awesome. All right, guys, you saw it. It was legendary. Stay focused, okay? Just get right to it. I always come up with something cool. Stay focused, stay motivated, stay off your ass. But guys, God damn it, stay free. Thanks for watching.